Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
I'll take a moment of gratitude. And before we go into any trading, we want to make sure that we always say our disclaimer and let everybody know that trading is risky and we would never, this is not any form of financial advice. We do have a financial advisor who's a part of Auvoria Prime, but he is our chief market analyst. He's not on this call here. So what we're doing is pretty much just giving people trade ideas and having discussion about trades that we may or may not be taking and utilizing this amazing product in AIRO. We don't ever want to make anybody feel like any results are guaranteed. We have very experienced traders that are on this call that are going to be kind of discussing some of the things that they have done. So we don't ever want to leave an impression that that's going to automatically happen to anybody. And we want to always make sure that we are very honest and transparent what we have going on. So let me bring up one more of our panelists. Where is Brother Al? Got you. Got him. All right, perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and jump in. I know we actually don't have a long time with our with Mrs. Jackie, our new Auvoria Prime AIRO educator. So I'm gonna swing it to her and kind of let her break down some of the things that she's been in. I know that she's not gonna be able to stay on fully with us today. So Jackie, I'll swing it to you as I grab up the rest of our panelists.
Cool. How you doing, everybody? So y'all, I'm gonna share my screen real quick. So I'm gonna show y'all a couple of things that you gonna hook me up, Dante, so I can share my screen real quick.
Yeah, so I gotta press the button every time. I forget it every time.
No, it's cool because I do the same. I do the same. All right, we're gonna go. Let's do this. All right, cool. So everybody can see my screen, right?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So we see here. I
Jackie,
want
they
to
said
talk.
you're a little low. Can everybody hear Jackie clear?
Oh, I'm a little low.
Yeah, you could bump up your volume just a couple notches.
Okay, wait a minute. What about now?
Oh, a little loud, but
hold on. Okay, now we okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're good.
Had to change the headset.
Just a quick thing, guys. For the sake of our sanity, if you have any questions and you want to make sure that they get answered, please put them in the Q&A panel, in the Q&A box, so that we can actually see them and they don't get lost in the chat when this thing goes on fire when we start taking some trades, guys.
Facts.
Appreciate it, Matt.
Good looking out, Matt. So everybody, I'm just gonna quickly go over S&P 500 because that's the index that I trade. Okay, so if you guys have been following the trade on my screen throughout the week, you know I've been in these S&P 500 trades since Monday night. So I'm swing trading it off of the H1 using the bag entry. So for those of y'all who are new to this, I'll quickly go over what I did for these initial trades. And then these subsequent trades are actually scalps that I'm waiting to complete. So I did a swing and I did a scalp, and I'll go through both, and they both are based off of the bag entry. And I'm just going to throw it out there. You win some, you lose some. I'm not worried about losses. As long as I win more than I lose, I'm good. Okay. So on S&P 500, and if you don't know what S&P 500 means, it means Standard and Poor. 500 businesses are in that index. I prefer to trade that index over NASDAQ and the Dow Jones, only because I prefer the more smoother price movement of the candlesticks for this index. So that's why I'm on here, and that's just my personal preference. Doesn't necessarily mean it's better than anything else. I took the swing trades off of the 1 hour time frame. So for those of us that were utilizing AIRO, we teach to use the strategy number 1, the bag entry: bounce, AIRO, go. So I'm gonna go through it quickly, because for those of us that's been on AIRO, you guys would have already seen the video. And those of you that's brand new, haven't seen the video yet, or you're just being exposed to it, it's very simple. Okay, we got zones, resistance, support, Bounce, arrow, go. A bounce from a zone, you see the arrow, take the trade. That's a simple entry method. There's some additional rules to follow. I'm a trend trader. So one of the rules is you follow the trend, okay? Now, in the strategy videos, it teaches you to trade off of the M15, the 15-minute time frame. That's great for scalping and things like that. I prefer to trade on a higher time frame, but I'm still utilizing the same entry method. All right. I use the higher time frame because I'm very busy, and I don't really prefer to scalp as much anymore. I start to swing more. I catch more pips the way I do it, and I'm not as worried about my trades. And I take only about 2 to 3 trades a week. I just threw these scalps in here because I just wanted to see if I was going to prove a theory right. So what these trades were, I took a couple of trades down here. You see, okay, this is actually a different strategy, not the bounce arrow go. It's one of the other strategies. But this position, these dotted lines all mean positions. The green ones mean positions. This one was a bounce arrow go. You see the arrow right here? Bounce from a zone. Bounce means price has touched the zone and it starts to move away from the zone. Arrow appears. This arrow appears at the close of the candle. Since I'm on the 1 hour time frame, each candle is 1 hour. Once this hour closed and all the parameters that was coded within the arrow alert were generated, arrow comes up. Bounce, arrow, make sure I am following the trend. To do so, you zoom out. It doesn't hurt to zoom out for a few seconds just to confirm I'm in the trend. I have more green than I have red. I'm in an uptrend. I'm only looking for up arrows. Took the trade and I let it roll. That's pretty much what it is. Typically, to take profit is as taught in the videos on this time frame. 50 pips take profit, 100 pips stop loss. Quick and easy and simple. You can always tighten it up based upon further information, such as when I use the Fibonacci. However, that's just basic bounce, arrow, go. Swing trade. Now, the reason why I kept it longer and for all these days is because I'm utilizing the Fibonacci to extend my trade. I'm looking for a take profit above 50 pips. That's why I'm still in those trades. Okay. Bounce arrow go off of the H1. Very simple. And you can just catch 50 pips and dip, and you just do it multiple times. Now, I'm still on S&P and I'm on the M5 now. So I'm going down to the M5 time frame. M5 means I'm on the 5-minute chart. Okay, so this is a scalping time frame for me, and I'm still only utilizing bounce, arrow, go. Okay, this is actually the trade that I took. This trade came out about 5:20 or something like that. Yeah, 7-hour time difference for me. So this came out about 5:20. I don't even know why I got up to take that trade, because normally I don't get up for another hour after that, but something woke me up. And so typically what it was is there was a support zone here. As you can clearly see, that support zone has been broken. So it's no longer here anymore. But there was a support zone there. And so there was a bounce. And here's the arrow. I'm following the trend because when I zoom out, I have more green than I have red. So that's an uptrend. I'm following the trend. When I'm on the smaller time frames, this money zone is very important. Okay. When I trade and I'm on the 15-minute or below time frame, I only trade those time frames in the money zone. Okay, in the money zone. Money zone is 1 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, trade in the money zone. That is one of the rules of AIRO. Strategy number 1. If you trade outside the money zone, you might be able to win, but the higher probability setups with more consistent wins are within the money zone, because you want to catch all the volatility and momentum that is taking place. And this money zone is encompassing the Europe-London trading session, all of it, and half of the New York trading session. You want all that money coming through to move price in the direction that you want. That's why the money zone is so important. Okay, so follow the rule, stay in the money zone, follow the trend. Now, I took this trade, bounce, arrow, go, And when I'm on the smaller time frame, I shoot for about 20 to 50 pips. Okay. So I did not hit my 50 pips yet. You can clearly see I'm in these two positions and I'm in drawdown right now. All right. So I'm going to say this. When you on the hour time frame, I mentioned 50 pip take profit, 100 pip stop loss. That's normally for currency pairs. Because I'm on an index, I actually go 2.5 times that. So I do 125 pip take profit, 250 pip stop loss. You don't know what pips means, just equate pips to money. And AIRO's really nice because it tells you how many pips you're in there anyway. So you don't really have to do a lot of calculating. Okay. But with that trade, that's why I'm not worried about this drawdown. Drawdown just means the trades that you're either losing or you're winning. And as of right now, these are losing trades, 30, 40, 30 pips. But that's okay because my stop loss is like at 100 pips. I ain't nowhere near. I'm not even halfway there yet. So I'm still okay with this bag entry method off the S&P 500. Now, that's this one. If you questioning about why I didn't take this trade, number one, it's counter trend trading. I don't trade against the trend. Okay. Even though this thing did clearly go 50 pips and then some, I don't trade against the trend. I'm more successful trading with the trend. Okay. And this doesn't even qualify for one of the strategies that is in AIRO as a counter trend trade. So I ignore it. Okay. If it don't fit the rules of a strategy, ignore it. Okay. Follow the rules, follow the trend. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm gonna still be here for at least another 45 minutes, but I just wanted to briefly go over how I trade S&P 500, and I'm not worried about this trade at all. Number one, New York session stock market is getting ready to open, so I'm about to get all that volatility coming in. Okay. Another reason why I'm not worried about this trade is because it already came down and it made like the low of the day, and then it's coming back up again, all in my favor. Not even worried about it. Okay. That's one of the things I want to tell everybody too. When you utilize AIRO in this trading system, and remember, I always say trading system, not just the indicator. This thing is a beautiful system. All right. When you trading and you brand new to this, you want to, and you feel like you're not going to be as confident in your trade, all you got to worry about is set your take profit and set your stop loss. Ensure that your stop loss is an amount of money that you're willing to lose. You know, I know risk management is key, right? And we kind of talked about that yesterday in depth, actually. It's very paramount to ensure your success. However, I always am comfortable with my stop losses because I know I'll take that loss. I'm fine. And plus, because I'm utilizing AIRO, I know it's not going to happen often. Okay. So if you're brand new to this, don't worry about how many times you're going to lose or whatever like that. You got to practice anyway, but you're going to build that confidence for sure. As long as you keep taking these trades and as long as you following the rules. If you following the rules of AIRO, you shouldn't have no problem if that thing hits your stop loss because you already know it's only going to happen maybe 2 times out of 10. Other than that, you win more than you lose. You should be happy. So I just wanted to drop that information in there. And yes, I also am in the oil trade because I do trade oil. Those are my two main things. And y'all mind if I go through oil real quick too?
Yeah, that's
sure?
great.
Go ahead, Matt.
We just got a couple questions in the chat. I think we can fire this off real quick, Jackie.
Sure.
Just take a quick pause from that. But what account balance, better to rephrase this question would be, what's the minimum account balance that you would even consider trading the indices?
On S&P 500, you could trade it with $100 account. No problem.
Well,
easy. Yeah.
Well,
just that one though.
Yeah.
Just that one.
Careful with the other ones, right?
Yeah. NASDAQ, I would go, me personally, I'm not trying to give financial advice, but if you practice with AIRO, I mean, I actually am trading with $100 account because I'm in a challenge with people and I'm trying to show them that they can do it. That don't mean you take 100 trades though. I'm telling them you have to follow a $100 account and you have to maybe meet a certain amount of pips per week. That's how you're doing it. So that challenge, I challenge people to do 75 pips per week conservatively, or 150 pips a week if they want to be aggressive. As you can clearly see, if you take one trade, you would have been hit that since Monday. So it's totally doable with a 0.01 lot size on a $100 account, only on S&P 500. If I go to NASDAQ, you might want to 3-4 times that. And then for US 30, you might want to not even talk about that unless you got a couple of Ks going in.
No,
that's
that's
just my
good.
personal opinion.
Right. And we need to go over some disclaimers real quick. I'm just looking for the official ones. I don't know if Mariska has maybe an updated one that we can use across the board. Don, maybe.
I do, of course I do.
Perfect. Would you be able to go over that one real quick, Mariska, for us?
Yeah, let me find it quickly so I can also quickly share my screen.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
Let me stop sharing so you could do that.
Yeah, we need to make sure we're above board on everything, right? First off.
Yep. I'm with it.
Yeah. We got standards here.
Very true.
And then we're going to get into the rest of your questions. We got 6 questions to answer real quick. I've been going through it, and it's good questions. So
Cool.
a lot of questions around the alerts that are not coming through. Now, I'm not getting alerts on my phone itself, but there are some people that are, some people that are not. Do we have an official workaround, or is there something that's in the works to make it more consistent?
You know what? I saw something actually come through about that. And it's, what did it say?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm putting you guys on the spot because I was trading this morning. And I saw a little something, but I was too focused making pips. So
me as well.
And listen, later on, we're going to go through 2 of the trades that we took earlier on. Myself and Al run a session right before dawn and before this one. So
there we go. The no phone AIRO phone notifications. That one right there.
Now we're talking.
MT4 issue. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I did see that out on Google as well. So
okay, so it's not the platform itself, it's not the indicator, it's legit MetaTrader 4. Mariska, yeah. She's all yours, my friend.
Let's do the risk
disclaimer. Let's go, Mariska.
It makes my heart jump with joy. Guys, risk disclosure: trading or using Forex analysis tools and software to assist you in trading carries a high level of risk. Only trade with capital you can afford to lose. Do not trade with the money to pay your mortgage or your rent. That's dangerous. The information contained in everything we do in this call is for informational purposes only. One should evaluate their risk tolerance and personal financial situation before trading. If ever in doubt, please consult your own personal licensed financial advisor. Auvoria Prime is not providing investment advice, as all trade opportunity alerts are delivered to all participants. You will all receive arrows based on your broker accounts with your broker and based on how this indicator has been programmed. It is up to you to decide what lot size to use. It's up to you whether or not to take a trade. I think that will cover it.
Hey, you're the boss. This is your specialty.
Yeah, exactly. I will make sure that we get one that is more detailed towards the AIRO calls and any live trading calls.
Thank you so much, Mariska. Thank you so
I'll
much
make sure
for having our bag.
I'll make sure I read that one at the beginning too. That's the same one that's at the beginning of the presentation. So that's cool.
Yeah, but I'll edit it a bit because I think a bit of tweaking makes it more suitable for the live trading calls.
Perfect.
Good.
Matt, can you go ahead and introduce Al and kind of let everybody know what you guys do in the mornings before we do this call, and kind of review some of the trades that you guys have taken on the previous one?
I would love to. So Al and myself have been coaches with Auvoria Prime for the last several months. We've had over 100 and some live calls that we've done together. He is a retired pilot, a fantastic trader, been trading the foreign exchange market for, well, several years at this point. He has become a dear friend of mine and someone that I highly trust and value his opinion. And I am so glad to have him on the call. Al, just introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll go through some more of the questions real quick, and then we'll go over the trades that we took in our live session. We start our session at 7:30 in the morning. We go until about 8:55. Okay, because we give this room enough time to get in and get settled and stuff, and then we go on. So Al, if you're there, my friend.
I'm here. Thanks for the kind words, Matt. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, we've been trading actually, our room started with the Hawkeye session. You may get some alerts on that, but basically we started off trading the AIRO wedges, and we've gradually gravitated into the AIRO system, and we're looking at doing basically do the same thing that Donta does here. Is we do the strategies that Nathan has prescribed that as we get more used to using this strategy. We also incorporate the knowledge that we have with trading the wedges, which is actually another one of his strategies. So, of course, you're always welcome to join us. We love to have everybody. And I said, Matt and I have been trading together for about 5 or 6 months now, I guess. So, but it's been fun. Yeah, we had a couple good trades this morning, and still in them, still waiting for them to materialize. And that's about all I have to say about that.
Thank you, Al. Thank you.
I can really hear him say, "This is your captain speaking."
Oh, yes. You can. I didn't even have to tell you he was a retired airline pilot, but yeah, you can tell. You could tell after all the years of doing that.
Love to hear that voice again, Al.
It's
yeah. Well,
People want the link, guys.
It's funny. Whenever I do the disclaimers in the morning, Brian goes, he'll say, "Well, thank you for flying with Hawkeye Airlines there." So
that's so funny.
Yeah, I'll make sure that we get the link out to you guys before the end of this. But let's just tackle these questions. We got 16 questions. We're gonna go through them really fast. All right. Let's get through it real quick. Okay.
The thing is, Matt, there's going to be questions flying in all day and night. So we got to make sure that we also are locked in also. And I want to let everybody see the workflow at a couple of trades that we took last night, because I know a lot of people were trading in London with Nate and a lot of people caught some pips and profits. So I want to make sure that we teach while we're go ahead and answer the questions, because they're not going to stop coming in with 200 people.
Oh, you are right. You are right. All right, let's see if we can just knock some of these out.
Go ahead. I'm right here. I'm going to bring up the screen.
All right. So no pip counter. Make sure you're using AIRO version 2. Don't use AIRO version 1. And over the weekend, there's going to be a new version of AIRO that should fix the vast majority of these. What strategy are you using on H1, Jackie? We are using bag entry.
Yep, it's the bag entry, and then strategy 2, which is the trend trading strategy, which kind of like when you see our holder TPs much longer than that 50 pip range. When you're trading with the trend, it makes it so much easier to do that. So it's like a combination of 1 and 2, which is, I think, is brilliant.
Really good stuff. All right. Well, hold on here. AIRO pip counter. Yeah. So AIRO pip counter is AIRO version 2, not AIRO version 1. You don't need both on your charts. After this, we're going to send the links to all of our Telegram chats for everyone. The AIRO Telegram, the AIRO announcements, the AIRO bag, the Hawkeye session, so that you guys can all be in the loop of everything that's going on with this wonderful product. Okay.
So that adds, you guys are on for 90 minutes, Matt, every day?
We are, my friend. Yes.
Okay,
every day.
That ups what we promote as our 18 hours of education right now to like, what's that, like 20?
22 and a half.
Okay, yeah, we'll take that.
Then? Wow.
Yeah, Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
Wow. That's 25 and a half hours of live trading.
Come on, guys.
The price just went up.
Do you already have access to the AIRO announcement channel?
Yeah.
To be able to post there, I mean?
Oh, no, I don't. No, I don't.
Okay, I'll get that in place as well.
Perfect.
Okay.
This trade
lots of
here,
questions.
I saw last night, or a lot of people took a couple of GBP trades last night, trading with Nate. These are perfect bag entry examples here. You see that once you zoom out, that we're in a clear uptrend. And once we zoom in, you can see at the beginning of the money zone here. And this is one of my favorite parts about AIRO is being able to just easily identify what time this was. Because I know that the money zone starts at 1 a.m. and I see a few candles after that, I can say, okay, this AIRO probably came at like 1:45, 2 o'clock, and just have a frame of reference as far as when this happened without really having to like think or do much research. And once this AIRO came, you have your bounce off the zone. They were in the money zone. I believe most people took this up for 20 pips. I saw a lot of screenshots with GBP, NZD, and then when I woke up this morning that are in the bag chat. If you guys have any other trades that we took last night or that I'd love to kind of review or go over while we knock out these questions. Go ahead, Matt.
All right, perfect. I've got actually, Al and I have 2 trades that we did. One has already hit take profit. The other one is on its way.
Go ahead and show me.
I do use TradingView, guys, for my analysis. I don't like MetaTrader 4, so don't be alarmed when you see my charts. But I will do a quick little screen share, and then we'll go over this. Okay. Now you see something different. There's a wedge here. Okay, pound Aussie. But one thing that's really, I'm going to bring up the bags indicator, AIRO indicator, so that we can go take a quick check of what it looked like. So pound Aussie. Okay. Here's a really important note, guys. If you, for any reason, click OK on your screen and then you lose your notification, you don't know where to get them, click on the experts tab. It's going to give you the history of all of the alerts that you've received since you had auto trading running. Very important to see, right? You want to see, go back and see what was available at the time, right? So let's go to, sorry, my bad. We were talking about the pound Aussie. So pound Aussie. So we had an alert. We had the green zone down here. Officially, when we back it out a bit, here, you see you got green, 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 green. So looks pretty good. You got a lot of room until that red zone, right? So for us, it looked like a pretty good opportunity to get in. So here we're going to take the pound Aussie now that we got it. The alert came around here. I took the 5-minute chart. I drew a wedge. And here's what we did. We drew a wedge. Just 2 trend lines. Trend line, we connected them. Trend line, we connected them. It drew a wedge. Then I drew a stick. This stick is like the width of the wedge, top to bottom. We waited for the breakout, okay? Because AIRO said that we're going long, it said, hey, this is great, guys. We got a lot of room to this red zone. That's perfect. Here's where wedges comes into play, and you can kind of compound your gains this way. Look where my stop loss is, guys. This is tight, okay? I'm not using a 40 pip stop loss. We're looking maximum 10 from entry, right? Because once it breaks out of this wedge formation, if it comes down here, I don't want to be in that trade anymore. I'll take the loss. I'll look for another entry. That's the reality of the situation, is these trend lines are pretty solid. Now, my take profit on this was, I put TP1 was 76.74, around there somewhere. So it hit it. We put pips in the bank. I'm not worried about TP2 because I just wanted a piece of this with a tight stop loss, very secure trade. And that was a great trade for us this morning. Now we got one that's on the way also, NZD Swiss. So this is NZD Swiss. Oops. I don't want to make it too convoluted here. Now this will be a little bit fun for some people here, because officially there was a red zone under there, but we didn't think that it was a very strong red zone, and we had the realities of a wedge in there, so we were okay with taking that trade. And I will explain to you why we decided to take that trade in our session, and then we'll answer any and all questions regarding these two trade setups. So I'll show you what the bag, what AIRO looked like at the time. So NZD Swiss. So we're going to go to NZD Swiss. Prior to AIRO, this is not a currency pair that I would ever be trading. So we're backing out. We see that we got some zones, okay? We got red and we got green. Officially uptrend. We're looking at something kind of a little bit mixed, right? We still wanted to take a look at it and see what we could do if it a little bit more advanced, I would say. So what we did is we took the top of the zone and we drew a trend line. We said, all right, great. We're drawing a trend line because wedges are only consolidation patterns. So we drew a trend line from the top. This is a very strong top, guys. We've got a red zone here that was marked by AIRO. It said red, red, red. So this zone is very strong. We had an arrow in that direction. Even though the green zone was here, hey, you know what? There's a lot of room to that green zone. So it was a pretty simple trade setup. We draw the stick, which we took a wedge, right? We took the wedge. We drew the stick from here to there. We put it at the bottom here. My stop loss in this trade is actually right here. Sorry, guys, the magnet tool right here. This is where the stop loss is. Takes a little bit more management, okay? This is the stop loss. For the sake of people's sanity, if I put potential entry here, and if I wanted to, here, let's put some real numbers to this. Oh, sorry, 200. Because that's points, right? Points and pips a little bit different. So if we were at a 40 pip stop loss, look at where we are. Do you think that it's ever going to get into the 40 pip zone before it comes back down and retests this area? I don't see it because we have too many red zones up here. We have this zone and this zone. Guys, I don't see it going there for a while. So we dropped it to 10 pips. Now, if the trade ever does go against us, we position size our account as if we had a 40 pip stop loss, but we only have a 10 pip stop loss, which means if it goes against us and we have 2% in our trade, we only lose half of a percent of our account, which is very minimal. And once we get to this point, once we get to this take profit, we hit our 2% target with very little risk. And this is how you can take AIRO and the bag strategy and add a little bit more precision to it with the realities of wedges. Do you think it's going to come and hit my target? Yeah. Nothing's guaranteed in life except death and taxes, but this is high probability trading at its best. And this is what AIRO brings to the table, and this is why I absolutely love it. Anything else to add on this, Al, or anyone else at that point?
Well, just a question from my end. I recall that Al told during the Hawkeye sessions that he was completely hooked when he learned the wedges. So Al, how did you feel when AIRO got on top of the wedges?
What's been really interesting is what we've been able to do as we get these alerts, and we look at the basic overall structure of it. Does it fit the strategy one, 20 pip target, 40 pip stop? And we say, okay, we can take this trade. But what we'll do then after we take it, we'll go back and we'll do pretty much what Matt just did, is we'll put it under a microscope and see, is our 20 pip target, is there something in the way for our 20 pip target that's going to keep it, can we expect a bounce at a certain place? And it gives us a little bit better opportunity to either tighten up the stop, or else maybe take a half position off when it hits what we consider a bounce point, and then maybe add to it on a retrace, or just take a half position as it goes to our target. So it gives us a little bit more control over the movement of the move as it trends, or as it goes sideways, or whatever it does. It gives us a little bit better idea as far as what our expectations can be, and helps control the emotions. So if you know that there's going to be a bounce point, even though you may believe in the trade, if you know there's going to be a bounce point, you see it bounce from that point, then you can, it helps keep what I call the emotional inventory to a minimum, where spend a lot of your emotions and your psyche, as far as it gives you the choice to be able to stay in, and the ability to stay in the trades longer.
Perfect. We have some questions in the chat saying, where can they go to learn wedges? Would that be strategy 6 or 7 in the AIRO? And then where can they connect with you guys as far as Iris, and just be able to kind of practice? And I don't know if they want to practice with you guys, because I don't know if they're ready to hear what Matt told Jackie.
Yeah.
But
there was a lot there, guys. And this was just a quick overview of how you could actually use wedges to get a tighter entry, lower your risk in the trade, and sometimes potentially the stick that you draw is bigger than the 20 pip take profit.
Yeah, I think what's important is that one thing we're trying really hard not to do is to overwhelm people when they come in, especially new people new to trading. We try to keep it relatively simple, try to keep it straightforward, but we also want to give you some of those nuggets of information you want to learn how to be able to read the charts. We spend a little bit of time, not as much time now with the AIRO, because the AIRO is so simple and so easy to get in, take a profit. But it also gives we're helping to give people that knowledge base of the technical analysis aspect of trading. I always say that there's 3 things about trading to maybe be a successful trader. You have to have proper money management. You have to have which is your position sizing. You have to understand the charting, which is the technical analysis. But the third and most important part, and the hardest part to really learn, is that emotional, the psyche, the emotional fear and greed aspect of trading. And that's really the hardest one that most of us have to learn, is that that's really where the hard part is. And the more you know about the trades, the more you can read the charts, the better off you're going to be, and the more you're going to be able to cut down that, what I call that emotional inventory.
That's what years of trading brings into the equation, right? Lots of experience there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was just checking. We got a couple of alerts. I was just looking at them. None of them really matched up. It was NZD USD and AUD CAD.
Yeah.
The both counter trend.
Their counter trend. We had one at 14:30 on the time, so about what's that, 15 minutes ago, for Aussie US.
Yeah, don't bring it up. Let me see.
Yeah, this is what I like, guys. It doesn't take half an hour to do analysis on these.
It really doesn't.
No.
Yeah, I pulled that one up. It's already uptrend with a down arrow.
Correct.
Come on, guys. So we got Euro JPY that happened about half an hour ago.
Let's see.
And one little trick that I just started doing yesterday, just kind of thought this may be helpful. As you pull up these charts, and you see which direction it is, whether it's an uptrend or downtrend, I just put a little, I go up to the toolbar and pull up those up and down arrows, and I just put it on the chart.
Keep it there.
And just keep it there. And when it changes, then I'll just change it out. That way I can just pull up the chart and say, oh, this one's an uptrend, without having to zoom in and zoom out all the time. And that just cuts down another few milliseconds of time it takes to analyze the charts.
Not like that. If I wasn't teaching in my own personal trading, I would definitely do that. For these, I want to kind of show everybody, or at least for the ones that we don't take. A lot of people message and say it helps them kind of like calm down that internalness of wanting to jump into a trade immediately. But I definitely love that tip. So going up to your toolbar anatomy arrow, so that way while the chart is minimized, you'll be able to see if it's an up or downtrend here. So then when you get the alert, you can just kind of reference and say, okay, well, this says sell, and then this says uptrend, so I don't even have to go look at it. Definitely love that.
Yeah, he caught me off guard this morning. He's like, yeah, I already had the arrow on there. I'm like, what are you talking about, arrow? You didn't even open it up yet.
Correct. Somebody said AIRO before we solve that problem. Yeah, AIRO has a lot of new things coming. I believe I think V3 is going to release this weekend. It's going to help a lot of people out. I know that a couple of us educators and beta testers, I guess, are utilizing just another version of AIRO that's going to be able to make this simpler, and it's going to kind of nip that problem in the bud that we have with people not getting the notifications to their phone because it's going to be less CPU usage that AIRO provides. AIRO is literally working the behind out of our BPS because of how much it's doing for each of these pairs. We love that, but it's also and that's the best part about being in a technology company, to where like the longer you're a part of this project, like the more, the better things are going to get, the more resources that we're going to have, the more educators that are going to step up, the more hours that are going to be available. Like this is you're at the beginning of something that's great here. So very excited. Matt, you see any questions in the chat? Go ahead, and I see a lot of us typing and answering.
Donta, great is an understatement.
I know. Go ahead. Give me a better word, Mariska.
It's just amazing. It is beyond expectations. I think most who are on this call right now cannot begin to imagine the size of all of this, the number of attendees we will see on these calls towards the end of this year. Life-changing.
Agreed.
Cool. I've got two quick things that we can talk about really fast. It's regarding wedges. So first one, the stick. Can you explain the height of the stick? So visual is going to be a lot more helpful to the vast majority of people. So let's do it from scratch. So screen number 3. Perfect. Let me pull up my charts one more time here for you guys. Here, we'll drag this over here. All right, so let's just pick a random pair. Let's pretend that we are looking at one of the alerts that we had just received. So one of the alerts we just received was the Kiwi US. Okay, now we kind of disqualified this one already, but we're just going to go see it. Okay, so Kiwi US. Right, so this is where I would draw my wedge. Okay, we got a wedge here. And we got a wedge here. So what's going to happen? This is on the 5-minute chart. You can do it on the 15 or whatever you feel more comfortable with, right? So probably look for an up arrow for a buy in here. This would be good. This could potentially be good. But let's see here. We've got, see, 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hits. We kind of got a strong bottom trend line. We got a strong up trend line. Now your stick, you're going to go from this trend line to the top of the wedge more or less. And then this stick, you're going to put it in the direction that it breaks the wedge. So whether it's here or later on here. We're not going to predict where it's going to break. We're not in that business, guys. We're going to react to where it is. We're going to be reactive and not predictive. That way we don't set our bias to, oh, it's going to go short or whatever. And that's it. I just find that doesn't work, right? We're not in the business of guessing. So first off, realities of this stick. This stick has a 75% chance that the price is going to reach the full length of the stick. Okay. Now, there's 2 types of take profits that you can do on this. Just for the sake of sanity, this stick is about 23 pips in length, which means your first take profit, you could do it at 10 pips. You know what that means? That means that once it breaks out of the structure, 75% of the time it's going to go the full length of the stick. That means that more often than 75%, it's going to go 10 pips in your direction. You can secure that bag and move on and look for another alert. if it fits the right criteria. Or you can go the full length of the stick and get an extra 4 pips instead of an arbitrary 20 pip take profit.
I love that last point, Matt, as opposed to an arbitrary 20 pip take profit. Like what we want to encourage everybody, because I've seen this already too, is like somebody will have their take profit at 20 pips because that's like, standard for a beginner. And then price will go up 18 pips in their favor and then turn around and they won't catch that and they will have lost that trade. But the frustration that they have isn't at their own discernment of the trade, is that it didn't hit 20 pips like the rules follow. And when, like Matt said in the beginning, that we're not in the business of predicting what the market's going to do, like we're literally like taking from the market and responding to what's there as opposed to trying to create it ourselves. So you want to always there's always going to be discernment when it comes to trading, and you want to take just the higher probability moves and not necessarily think that because we say 20 pips at every single trade that follows the credentials goes exactly that. So we kind of base, I just love, Matt, how you broke that down on how to be able to kind of secure maybe 10 to 14 as opposed to 20, and people will have hit their take profits faster and can kind of move on through the next trade. So I love it.
Next question really quickly has kind of to do with the wedges. I will share my screen once more. Now here is a big misnomer, and I will show you exactly why this is not the reality. So this is a descending wedge, descending triangle, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's descending, okay? That doesn't mean that it's going to go down. Doesn't mean it's going to go down. The direction doesn't matter. And I'll show you why it doesn't matter. We'll bring it on to here. We'll bring this here. All right, guys. So here, this is descending, right? Descending wedge. Okay. Reality is it went down. Great. Okay. Let's go to the next wedge that we see. Sorry, guys. Here. Now we got another wedge here, right? Do you see there's kind of a pattern here, right? This is the end of a run. It's a ascending, well, you can call it ascending if you wish. That's kind of more or less a flat if you wanted to go here. Myself, I do like to have use the higher wicks. I like wicks. I don't like going through candlesticks. Okay, guys? You go through candlesticks on the 15-minute, you're cutting through price at the lower levels. All right, let's, so here, ascending, okay, more steep up, and it's going down.
Hey, Matt, just a quick question on that, more comment on that one. Where you have that wedge, you also see the M that Nathan often talks about. You have the up move, you have the pullback, you come back up and retest the top where that wedge is. And then it comes down, and when it breaks the wedge after the last leg of the M, it breaks, and that's where the money is.
Look at that, guys. And then look, there's a lot of realities in what we're doing here. So here, and this is just to show you, just because it's going in one direction doesn't mean it's going to continue in that same direction, because these are consolidation moves. Officially, it has like a 60-some% chance to break in the same direction of the previous trend. But every once in a while, that correction is going to actually be the reversal. So, and it doesn't matter what currency pair you use or what indices, because the realities of wedges carry through everything. So this might be a little dirty because I've got I trade a lot, right? So, but here you're descending, and then here, I'll show you the stick just so you can visually see it. And then here, you got a descending, okay, guys? Descending, a wedge, whatever. Put it here, drop it here, and then we got a stick. Gonna put that stick right here. Gonna put that stick right at the break. Boom, take profit. It's gonna do it 70-some% of the time. So that's just some things with the wedges, but we'll move on from that. I think we've covered that question. So whether it slants up or down, it's not important. It's just the break. You're looking for the break.
Somebody said, is this for beginners? It seems complicated. What do you think for that person, Matt?
Oh, I think that it may be a little overwhelming for someone that hasn't taken some demo trades, but it's not as complicated as it looks, to be honest.
I agree.
It may look a little overwhelming, but all I'm doing is drawing two trend lines. Okay, I'm looking for the top and the bottom, and I'm connecting the wicks. I'm connecting the wicks, and I'm trying not to go through any candle bodies whatsoever. And that's the basis of what this is. I'll tell you that this way, and why I'm so confident in drawing the wedges this way, or even using AIRO. When I saw AIRO, and I went on my charts and I started looking, and I said, "Wow, this thing is identifying the consolidation zones and the breakouts, so I can get in much tighter than a 40 pip stop loss because of what we know about wedges and trend lines."
I'd like to address that question, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead, my friend.
Because we get this question an awful lot. And one thing I really like about the AIRO is you can keep it very, very simple. You look at count the green bars, count the red bars, look at the AIRO. Is there enough room? Take the trade, boom, you're done. And for a new person trading, you can just hang your hat on that and you can be making some money. The next thing is that depending on where you are in your knowledge base or where you want to go with your knowledge base, we're providing that ability to be able to learn a little bit more but you don't have to do this. With AIRO, you can just pretty much look and say, do the 20 pip, 40 pip, and you're good, and you can trade this thing and you can walk away and have a good day. But there's a segment of people out there that they just want to know more. They just get thirsty for more information. And so and the only way you're going to get that is that when you get into if you go into a lecture and they say you only absorb probably 20% of the lecture at any one time, you go back in, you hear it again, you pick up another 20%. Next time you go back in, well, rather than 20%, now things are starting to make sense and you build on that knowledge base. So yes, it does become overwhelming if you go right to it, but if you give yourself the time and put the time in just to listen and to ask questions, especially ask questions, you'll start building that knowledge base, and then it will start making sense. You'll start seeing these. You'll be able to look at a chart, and your eye will immediately see those patterns. And that's all I have to say about that.
I fully agree, Al. I think, having followed quite a few of your sessions, and I invited other people to join them, the first response always was, "Wow, this is way too complex, way too difficult. I'm a beginner." And I told them, hang in there. If you continue to hang in there and just watch what they are doing, listen to the explanation, it will start to make sense to you. It's with everything that's new. It seems hard in the beginning, but it becomes easier because you become familiar with it.
Yeah, a doctor doesn't become a doctor without learning physical anatomy. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes a lot of studying, it takes just a lot of observing. But I can't stress enough that when you're in either this room or our room, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Either put in the chat or raise your hand. We can turn your mic on, and we're more than happy because you learn more by asking questions you do just by sitting back and trying to figure it out yourself.
Very true.
And that's solid, because one of the things that a lot of people don't do, okay, and I've been coaching for a while at this point, they don't observe enough. They get in and they try to figure it all out. Sometimes it's better to go back and see what has happened in the past and kind of record that in your brain. The reason I can draw wedges so simply, and it takes me 2 seconds, it doesn't matter where it is on the charts, whatever, is because I've gone and I've done thousands of wedges. I didn't come out of mama's womb drawing wedges. Al didn't come out of mama's womb knowing how to draw a wedge. Okay. There was a lot of hours and a lot of figuring out and a lot of observation. And the 60% in those percentages that we gave out, that was based on observation. So your biggest asset is your eyes and observation and your ears and paying attention and asking questions and getting involved. You want to make this your future? Get involved. Ask the questions. We're going to try our best to get through all the questions, okay? But we also want to be taking these trades. We don't just be talking the whole time, right, Don?
Yeah, I mean, we don't control when the trades come though. That's the thing. Like, and that's what I love. Like at the end of the day, the more education and the more like value that's in between us taking the trades, because we don't dictate what the market gives us. We just respond to it. So I feel like a lot of times, people need to like in reality, I don't sit in front. If I had AIRO and I wasn't like on the live Zoom or educating, I wouldn't be sitting in front of the chart all day. I would wait for a notification, and then when they came, I would go check it out quickly, and then be like back onto whatever it is I was doing. So because we're on a live trading session, it adds another pressure to want to get into a trade, when in reality, it's not always the right time to get into a trade. So in between time, to hear different strategies, different perspectives, different outlooks, I think that it's extremely valuable, and it allows people to kind of gravitate to where they're at. We want to create an environment here where people from all different experience levels, and can start from the very basics, and then work their way up to the point to where you're taking confident trades with tighter stop losses and higher lot sizes, and really making trading become a part of your income. Like it's such a difference than kind of doing this and trying it out and got your toe in the water. Yeah, I know AIRO, but because AIRO is access to what we're talking about right now, I believe is just way too easy to get. Because people only have to pay $120 a month to have access to all this, you don't respect it, you don't treat it as serious. That's why people aren't taking demo trades all day and night and documenting and things like that, because it's not serious to you. But if you paid $5,000 to be a part of this, you would take it so much more serious, and have such a different outlook on what's going on right now. So I think what you guys are doing is great, and I love being able to communicate and talk with other people in this space who just have a high experience level, because once you get to a certain point, it's like we're always learning. Like I've learned so much trading with Jackie and Coach Mo in the last couple of days, and now I'm excited to hear from you. We have another educator that we just brought up that we haven't even given a chance to really kind of go in on their own experience as well. And I just look at trading as something to where I'm always learning, always getting better, because what's on the other side of learning and mastering this is complete freedom. Like you're talking about $6.6 trillion traded every day, and it's like, yeah, I want a lot of that. So it's like for me, I look at like my own development and trading every day as an obligation to mastering this craft, and because I know how valuable it is once, like what's on the other side. Like this is a blessing to everybody to even have access to such great traders, just giving it all the way, giving all the gems that they know. So I think that I love these calls.
Don, I've got a question that came up. So starting AIRO next week, after a couple of weeks of demo trading, I'm more of a gambler, and I'm afraid to lose on a trade since the overall percentage win rate is so high. But using wedge analysis gives you more confidence. Do you set a higher lot size? Here's my words of advice, okay? And not advice, sorry. Go do 100 of these, okay? Whatever you're doing before you start going live, have the knowledge of system performance, the KSP, to know what your win rate is, not what Donta's win rate is, not what Al's win rate is. Okay? You don't want someone else's win rate. You want your win rate, your percentage. And whatever you do for a volume. Have a really good understanding. Don't just go out there and say, oh yeah, I'm going to draw a stick here and I'm going to draw a wedge here and I'm going to trade like Matt. I'm going to trade like Al. Don't do that, guys. It's not going to pay you very well to go and try something new without first you putting in the energy and the resources and the sweat equity to test it out yourself. What is it going to cost you to spend 2 weeks trading AIRO before you go live? Once you get a consistency, this 2 weeks, you're going to forget about it. You're going to be, oh, well, that's called training. That's called getting into it. Putting in the sweat equity, like Don said earlier. All right.
Just learning. And there's now, at the end of the day, we're waiting for bag entries to start. So it's like, if there's no bag entries that come up, we're just kind of waiting and hanging around.
So you're saying someone said that the screen has too many colors and lines. Were you talking about my charts in TradingView, or were you talking about the indicator itself? There was a question around too many colors and lines.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
Can you go over what a classic back entry strategy looks like for the people who are new? Absolutely. So I think it was GN last night and GA that people took while we were live on Nate's session. Absolutely. So for those who don't know, and again, if you've never seen what a bag entry looks like, you want to make sure that you go through your AP, your Warrior Prime back office, and watch the Strategy 1 video, and make sure that you understand how to complete a bag. Because once you know how to do bag entries, it takes you 2 seconds to analyze it, which is why if you only get 15, 20 alerts, 30 alerts on a call, we're still only spending 10 minutes, 20 minutes talking about a bag entry, whether or not we get in the trade or not. A lot of the other conversation has to be geared around something, because when you realize how easy and simple it is, it's not that much to talk about. You can check immediately and know, okay, more green than red. It's an uptrend. We got an up arrow. We're above the moving average, and we bounced off of the zone. There was more than 20 pips up to the next zone. So people took this trade for 20 pips. And 20 pips in the bag, very simply right there. Now that happened during London. This arrow happened probably before we even got on this call, so I didn't see it, but that would have been another potential entry as well. And that's a very simple, easy bag strategy. Like, you're only taking the trade based off the arrow it is that you have. Now, because we have a community here that we've been doing bag entries with for almost a month and a half, 2 months, to tighten up, I have a lot of people that always reach out and say, why do we do 40 pip stop losses? And can we, like, kind of take, the goal is for everybody to advance and to learn more. So one of the strategies, I think that that what Jackie kind of provided in the last couple of days when you go into swing trading, and then what Matt now and Al have brought to the table when it comes to scalping, will take your trading with AIRO and the bag strategy to the next level. Everything's still based and starts there. If you're going to trade more so like Jackie and use the H1 for different trade, or the H1 or H4 for different trades that you're looking for, you're still waiting on the bag entry off of the bounce and the arrow while you're trading in the direction of the trend. For those who want to scalp more, I know that some of us were on the call yesterday with Coach Mo, who trades on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. So if you want to go and take your trading to the next level and be able to create more opportunities for yourself to take trades by going in on the lower time frames, you have the ability to do that, but it takes another level of learning. And what Matt and Al are teaching with your wedges will allow you to tighten up your stop losses and be able to make much more money while you're trading. Because for me, I'm comfortable trading higher lot sizes on smaller accounts because of how I really set my take profits, because I have no problem taking an 11 pip, 13 pip loss and that'll increase your win ratio as well. So you'll see that there's just a lot of different perspectives. And what we want to do here is open this up and allow people to grow with us in AIRO, because at the end of the day, a brand new person can get on this call and we have taken no trades and they would still be sitting here like, well, what did I learn and what did I do? It's more than just how many active trades that we get into, because we don't really control that. At least I don't.
That's fantastic. That's great. Now, I just want to really clarify this, guys. If you have not taken your demo trades with strategy 1, under no circumstances are you to go in and take a 10 pip stop loss. Okay? Don't do that, because it's probably not going to work out in your favor if you haven't done the analysis on trading wedges for a significant amount of time. Just stick with bag 1, master that, figure that out. Use the 40 pip stop loss unless you have another way that you've been trading that can get you a tighter stop loss, okay? But over the course of a couple months, all right, over the course of a couple months, we need to make sure that you put in the sweat equity and then understand what you're getting into. Please do not go in with strategy number 1 and say, well, Matt said you could use a 10 pip stop loss because it's a wedge. All right, it's not going to work.
I know I like NU. We don't have an arrow yet, but it looks like we may get one. If we get an up arrow over this moving average, it's definitely it's a trade that you were looking at just a few minutes ago, Matt. And I would agree that there's a potential entry loading up. Same with UCAD here as well. That if
I like this. I like this. We're setting traps, right? We're setting traps.
Just keep an alert. We're ready. So we're just keeping our eyes open, waiting for arrows for these. I like what Matt and what Coach Mo were talking about. We're just bumping down on lower time frames, because you're never going to see something happening on a higher time frame and it doesn't happen first on the lower one. It's just that you want to be very cautious in how you enter and exit your trades. But we're going to kind of keep our eyes open for these trades here while we are kind of knocking out these questions and going from here.
All right, so I'm gonna start posting all of the links to the various chats so that everyone can be in the same connected to the same spots. Okay, so perfect. Give me a sec here.
Jeff said, I need your link to your daily sessions, people. That's great.
I like this. This is exciting stuff, guys. It's a big family. So, all right. So here's 2 links. Okay. This is the, copy message. All right, so this is the AIRO bag chat. Okay, guys. The second one is AIRO announcements. Okay. And the third one I'm going to link is our Hawkeye
You got to send it to the attendees too.
Oh, yes. My bad.
They're like, what? What link?
Right. Here. Select all. Let's do that.
Oh, Matt's doing that. I have to say a little something too about when we talk about a 40 pip stop loss, when we were trading the wedges a few months ago, we had it down to where we were looking for a 7 pip target and a 10 pip stop loss. So having a 40 pip stop loss, things like I've got all kinds of room right now. But what's interesting is if you can position size and the tighter your stop, if you look at a 2%, if you can manage to get a 2% trade with even like 5 pips a day, if you have a $5,000 account and you can do 1 trade for 5 pips a day with a 2% target, within 2 years, you'll be a millionaire if you just let it compound as you compound and compound. And it doesn't sound like a lot at the beginning, and sometimes it's kind of slow growth, but that's just the power of compounding. If you can just take those trades, the tighter you can make your stop, the larger your lot size. The larger your lot size, the more profit, and ultimately the less of a move you need in order to get that 2%.
What you guys see here also, that's great. And you guys, if you guys have not played with a compound calculator yet, when it comes to your own personal trading, when it comes to how you're viewing your money long term, I think that we should all do that. Like, it's something that you should do often. I love the perspective that it gives. It brings everybody back to like, why am I trading? What's the long term goal, as opposed to trying to flip accounts? Because I don't think that I just think that that's a myth. I know that Nate had went over his bank induction strategy. I believe, was that a couple of days ago? I think Mariska had said that they went over that. I want to show you guys just a great example of what that means and how that I can see 2 examples of that on the chart that we're looking at right now. What a bank induction move is and why I think that it's also a great strategy. And then also the first entry that Jackie took on her S&P 500 trade was off of the bank induction move. And I'll go bring up the S&P and explain to you guys exactly what that means, how she took the trade, and where that could be potentially leading us as we're on this session right here. So strategy 1 is bag entry, which means that we're basing everything off of the trend. So we need to know what the trend is before we're even looking at anything. I want everybody to pay super close attention to. So we're in an uptrend. We have 3 green, 2 red. We're in an uptrend. Now, as we zoom in, what a bank induction move means is what the banks are doing is they fake people out all the time. So the banks are not like your friends when it comes to trading. You want to trade with the banks and not try to trade against them, which is why we're always in favor of trading with the trend. But oftentimes you'll see where the banks are attempting to fake people out. So you'll see here how, like, what people do all the time in trading is try to guess when the trend's going to change, try to guess when the counters are going to switch and things like that. And that's why a lot of times people lose. So we're in an uptrend here. And you see how price is starting to kind of like break down a little bit here with these couple red candles. So some people now, they're alerts for, okay, it's time to sell this pair now because it's been going up for long enough, maybe going off right now. And the banks could be potentially now going to take your money, as I think we're going to go up for another uptrend here. So how do you determine what a bank induction move is? And this is, again, I learned this directly from Nate, who learned this from Bobby Will. And when I learned this, I was like, wow, this is kind of powerful, but I've been testing it and practicing as well. But I want to show you guys this because I don't really think it's that hard to understand. So this only works when you know what the direction of the trend is. So if you don't know what the direction of the trend is, please don't talk about a bank induction move. Now, here's a great example. When you get an arrow directly against the zone, opposite of the trend, that would be considered a potential bank induction move entry. So you see how this arrow here is a down arrow, even though we already know we're in an uptrend and it's directly into this zone. Nate would actually buy right here. And then when his second arrow came here, he would buy again and be able to take these trades up. So what you're doing is basically predicting that the bank is faking you out with this arrow. Now you're only doing this when you get an arrow, and you're only doing this when the arrow is pointed directly against the zone, against the trend. So I thought that was interesting as I saw this move here. And then I looked up when Matt has said that he was thinking that and you might reverse. And then I brought it up and I'm like, this could potentially be what it is that what it is that Nate was showing us with the bank induction moves. This will be strategy number 10, I believe. This only works though when you know what the direction of the trend is. But again, that's not very hard to see. You just come pull the chart up, get your time frame, get your direction of the trend, and then move from there. So now that we know this is an uptrend, because we got a down arrow here, we wouldn't be looking to take any down arrows regardless. So it's like I would only be looking for buys because we know the uptrend. But it's interesting when you see this arrow, and if you would have entered right here, you would be in profit for here. And we'll see if we get another arrow here that will take up for our 20 pips. So it's just interesting. I love to see things that I learned kind of play out right in front of us. And I'll go and bring up the S&P 500 too, which I saw Jackie literally murdering on this call, which was insane. She is great. I'm going to bring up S&P. So she did a bank induction move off the H1. That's the first, when she first hopped on the call, I was like, oh my gosh, my stomach started hurting when she showed me this. This was on what, like Monday? Yeah. So she hopped on the call and she was already in these trades. But when we got on the call, she took this buy right here. So we knew what the direction of S&P was already. We know it's going up. It's an uptrend. So I'm only looking to take buy trades under any circumstance. So now that we know the direction is up, when she saw that this had this green arrow here and there was a zone, there was an arrow directly into the zone, she bought right here. Boom, first big entry. Now she was in profit. And then this was the entry that she was showing everybody today, which was a bag entry, which is bounce, arrow, go off of the correct zone, this is perfectly fine for just a strategy one, just for you have entered your first trade here and gone up for your 20 to 50 pips, whatever that is. But what I said, I literally commented this when she showed me. I was like, that's nasty, because she bought right here, experienced a little to no drawdown, and then was able to enter here again and here again, and was still in the trades up here. And again, if S&P goes up, she's still in profit. She took more entries up here, like she was literally riding the trend. But I thought that it was powerful that her very first entry was off of the bank induction move, which is just literally when you already know the direction of the trend. So I hope that wasn't too much for everybody, but just to kind of correlate just another way how we're really using AIRO to be able to question. And again, she had entered off of the 5 minute here. There was a zone right here. So she took this up arrow into the zone, and her stop loss was more than 50 pips or more than 100 pips, whatever this is going down. And this looks like it's going to continue up and probably go hit her TP. So just powerful stuff and really kind of taking your trading to the next level. Hopefully that we didn't overwhelm anybody. But
well, you know what, if you're overwhelmed or this seems like a lot, because there's a lot of information that was dropped, okay? Lots of information was shared. You're in the right spot. You know, you're in the right spot with the right people. We want you to succeed. And it's going to take a little bit of time to get accustomed to new things and interesting things like this. If this is the first time you even heard of a wedge, hey, you know what? Store it in the back of your mind. Don't worry about it. Work about bag one. Get your 100 demo trades into bag one strategy, and then come back and figure out the wedge, how you can combine wedges and get a tighter stop loss. For now, stick with 40 pip stop loss. You know, it doesn't matter if you're starting off, it doesn't matter what your stop loss is or whatnot, because what you're trying to do is observe and figure out what doesn't work. What doesn't work for you, because you do not, under any circumstances, want to get lucky. You don't want to get lucky, because then you're going to count on luck. And then you're going to think that the system may not work. The system works when you put in the work.
Yeah, I think Jackie said something great yesterday. She said that you want to take, this is not gambling. Like a lot of times people feel like, well, I can just throw money in this account. Like it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like you talk about it and you treat it like you're gambling, like you're trying to take 200 to 10,000 in a night. And that's just like, it's just a very immature way to look at trading. I used to look at it like that in the beginning until I lost money. And I was like, whoa, okay, if I take this serious, and I got real serious. And that's why I started loving expert advisors too, because a lot of times people can't control that emotion, and that's why they struggle. But being able to use software to help you make it a lot easier. is powerful. Somebody said, "Why to enter NU now?" No, if I was going to enter NU off the bank induction, I would have done it immediately. What you don't want to do, like I don't like chasing trades. So it's like if I see it, like this arrow here, if I was going to be trading off a bank induction, I would be entered it in this zone and have a tight stop loss below the zone. If my stop loss would have hit for 10 pips, then I would have been mad about it. But if it would have went in our favor and then we got another arrow following up, you could ride that up all the way to the newest high, which is, I mean, shoot, it's a lot of pips.
Significant amount of pips. Significant. That's, you're not playing with 2 or 3% a day. That's life-changing money right there in that one move.
Literally, I'm trying to tell you, like I tell people the most money I made in a day trading, and they think that I took 1 billion trades. It was one pair, like for almost $250,000. Like it's crazy. It's literally one trade. I showed you guys a screenshot in the educators group chat yesterday. This guy I know who I know is legit. He made $1 million yesterday trading and only took it was US 30 and gold. He took for buys yesterday that went long and were trending. Remember, we were on this call yesterday and everything was already trending, or it wasn't really a good spot to enter any of the indices that Coach Mo and Jackie were showing us. And this guy had literally had like 50 lots open, something like that. I gotta bring up the screenshot again. So it just blows my mind. Like you don't have to over trade. Like you don't gotta, you know what I mean? Like you can like catch the right move with the right confidence and really have strong entries and make serious money, like for real. And that's, again, we read the disclaimer that doesn't, I'm not like saying this relates to anybody personally, but I see people wanting to take 50 trades all the time. Donta, beginning trades, like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, once you realize how powerful it is to confidently take one trade, then like you're unlocked. But it's still like, if you're chasing trades all day and night, it's still learning to do.
You know, you can run out of luck. You will never run out of skills.
Exactly. You can roll that dice as many times as you want, but it's going to be up to luck. And in this game, you do not want to be hoping, wishing, and praying that things go in your direction. That's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for anyone. Consistency over time, small gains. It doesn't matter what worked once, it's what works continually. Like Al said, a little bit every day adds up to a lot over time. There's a great book called The Compound Effect, and there's another take on that same principle called The Slight Edge. And it explains the whole idea of a little bit every day can change your life. Well, that's a concept that has been ingrained, and there's so much reality to that if you can just consistently do the same thing. So if you're comfortable taking the 40 pip stop loss and the 20 pip take profit, my goodness, go do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Do 100, do 200. Take that every day for a year. You'll change your life. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you take 10 pip stop loss. Whatever's going to work for you, do it. Because consistency is going to be better. Your consistency in a 40 pip stop loss is better than your inconsistency in a 10 pip stop loss.
True.
So don't worry about what we're talking about. Just maybe store it in the back of your head. Once you get more comfortable and confident, you know what? Take the 40 pip stop loss on your live. Start demoing with the 10 pip stop loss. Start figuring it out. You've got plenty of time. The Forex market is not going anywhere soon. Anytime soon. It's not going anywhere. So for the people that have so much FOMO about, oh, we missed this trade. Oh, this one came up. GBP CAD's there. And guys, yes, we want to make money. There's always going to be more trades. Forex market's not going anywhere. And a big mention, okay? We are... now I know myself and Don, and Al, we look at all 25 currency pairs. We have everything set up. So whatever comes our way, we take a look at. We don't look at specifically 4 pairs or whatnot. We let the system tell us what to look at.
Yeah, for beginners, people who just joined, never did anything with Forex before, stick to the 10 pairs that Nate suggests. And you can find those pairs if you go through the AIRO training videos. It's 6 GBP pairs and 4 Euro pairs, because those for him have been proven to have the best daily range, the best movement, and the highest probability of catching some pips. Then when you become comfortable and you are up for more, expand your charts. But don't jump in here completely new, then hear the excitement and the success of Jackie, forget about Forex and try to trade indices. Start with the basics. Really, it's the best gift that you can give yourself.
Yeah, I like that because full disclosure, I don't trade the indices. I stick to Forex because that's what I'm comfortable with. Is there potentially more money to be made in the indices? Am I demoing the indices? Yes. Am I comfortable enough to start messing around with the indices? No. Does it matter? No.
No, you're so right, Matt. I mean, so many people now see the hype a lot of times about gold.
Gold is one of those,
crypto.
right, Mariska?
Oh, absolutely. And gold is the most dangerous pair if you are a beginner to start trading. I tell my beginners to stay away from gold.
God, yeah. I don't even touch gold. I don't worry about it. So we just had a quick question. Guys, all the questions in the Q&A section, please, so that we don't lose it. But we just had a quick question, Mariska, about the currency pairs, that the 10 currency pairs that you had mentioned. Now, I do know that it's all 6 of the GBP pairs.
Yes.
So you got the pound Swiss, the pound Kiwi, the pound yen, pound CAD, pound USD.
Did you have pound Aussie?
This pound Aussie that I forgot. And then we have the 4 euro pairs, and I do believe I might get it wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay?
Yeah,
but
no euro, no euro USD.
No, it's euro yen, euro Kiwi.
Yep.
And euro Aussie.
Yep. And euro GBP.
Yeah, and euro yen. So.
Yep.
Oh, euro. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So, yeah, Don or anyone, if you guys got some, I see you're moving around quite a bit. You got a lot of stuff going on here, checking out some trades.
I mean, and you was lining up to be exactly what we discussed. Like, if you're going to enter off the bank induction, you would have been directly in profit right now. And then I'm going to see if you're going to get an AIRO on the 5 or the 15 minute for NU. I just think this is a nice setup.
I think also when you have been trading a bit longer, you will recognize the time frames in which the banks, the market makers are making their moves.
Correct.
They have their specific time slots in which they will start chasing stop losses.
I love it. These fake outs, though, this is great. Let's see.
What do we got there, man?
No, so we got AN. This doesn't look exciting. Hold on. Let me take this to the 5 minute. No AIRO on the 5 minute either. If there was, I would have took it. But let's go see AN. AN. Ooh.
Ooh, all right. Sit down, guys.
All right, yeah, we're in there. I'm taking AM for sure.
Yeah. You can't sit on this.
I was about to talk trash too.
Yeah, you were. I saw it coming up. Like, I already had it on my other charts, and I said, Don, nothing. Don't say nothing. Oh, listen. All right. Yeah, we're. This is not financial advice, by the way.
There's no such thing as financial advice. I'm asking for this call as far as we're concerned. This is an easy trade, though, as far as identifying a strategy. One, you zoom out, you see we're in a clear uptrend here, like super clear. And then you see that we have a bounce off of this zone here. We're above the moving average. And we have our AIRO. And then we have well over 20 pips. To our next zone. Our next zone is almost 60 pips away. So 20 pips from right here will put you around this like 1.08-ish region. So like 1.08 will put you right around 20 pips if you were to enter right now. Now let's have this stop loss conversation because this is great. So Typically, if you're following the strict rule, sorry, the rules of strategy 1, your stop loss would be 40 pips from around this region that where you could have potentially entered this trade. So let's just see where that looks like on the chart. So we entered right here, right after the candle. We took this down. I could barely even get the 40 pips on the chart. This is 38, putting it all the way at the bottom. Like,
come on, man.
Me personally, I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have, I'm on the side of Matt to where I would rather have more confidence and tighten up my stop loss. Like something that I was taught, that like one of my first lessons in trading was that put your stop loss below the previous low. Like, and what does that mean is that if we're looking at this huge zone here for AN, this big green zone, I wouldn't put my stop loss all the way below this. If it breaks, this is a green zone here. Like I'm out. Like I'll take the loss. Like, you know what I mean? I don't have to chase that and hope that it goes up. And not doing that will allow you to have much more. It's just much more confidence in all your entries. Like much more. You can then have. If you guys saw the calculator that Matt had yesterday, and I'm looking forward to being able to go look at that in detail. If you saw the calculator, the tighter your stop loss, the higher your lot size can be, which would mean that you only need 1 or 2 maybe good bad trades, and it will mean so much more as opposed to taking each one being willing to lose 40 pips. If that makes sense. I like this. This is a great trade. You bouncing right off this nice strong zone here. Got the AIRO. We're go ahead and let that play out.
I have a question about this one because my chart showing 3 red zones right above where the AIRO was.
Let's see. Where did it go? Why did I do this?
3 red zones.
I'm showing 3 red zones, right? I mean, let's place right in the first red zone, right where I'm looking at.
There. And the difference in your zones is always going to be on your broker, but I would love to see it.
Aussie, New Zealand. You want to see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me show my screen here.
If you have a red zone, I wouldn't take it.
Let's see. That's Aussie, New Zealand, correct? This is what we're looking at?
Mm.
Can you see it?
I have no zone right in front. I have no zone for either two, only the top.
I have like 3 red zones right there, and
that's odd.
I mean, I'm showing the lots of green bars underneath, but I'm seeing those. I'm so kind of curious as why yours didn't show it. Mine is.
This is Luke Roy, and it's a demo. Yep. Ours is mine is I was looking at a live one through Envy. I'm curious if the broker difference or the live demo difference makes a difference.
And Envy demo right now is the one I'm using for teaching purposes. I'm not gonna use my live account. Yeah, no, I've got no red zones there. The only red zone I got is at 108.38. It's at the top there. That top.
How about you, Miska?
Okay, so your first zone is way up there at the top. It's the top of my third one there.
Yeah.
Way up here. Okay.
Yeah, way up there. That's the same zone, but I don't have those 2 other zones there. No.
That is interesting. Okay.
No, I don't have them either.
You don't have them either. Okay. Wow.
Interesting. I really want to figure out what the broker difference is that determines that. I would love to talk to you about it just to learn. If you're looking at your chart and you have 3 red zones, if you were by yourself, you wouldn't take the trade. So I wouldn't take it.
Yeah, because I mean, I did take this based on what you were saying, but I'm the one. You guys get the you guys win the 3 against 1, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Getting outnumbered. Yeah, that's very interesting, and that will be noteworthy actually.
Yeah, a lot of folks in the chat saying too they have zones as well.
Yeah, with Hugo,
we have to investigate this a little bit further. I think
that's interesting.
I'm on a 15-minute time frame. Aussie, New Zealand, and the broker here is Liqueur.
I
don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, people saying Hugo's Way has the zones. LQD has the zones.
So it must be different. It must be a broker feed.
It has to be.
That's the only thing I can think of. Okay.
Interesting. We've got
doesn't have it. They say I see Marcus does. I'm just really curious just to see.
Yeah, let's put this aside and let's talk to developer and his team and see what maybe there's something in the coding.
I mean, I know it ends in profit for those who answer.
Hey, yeah, no, I know that's the thing. I'm sitting in profit over spread.
I wonder if there could be something in the setup possibly. If I have something different in the setup.
Interesting. So we're getting this question again, guys. What are you going to find one pair and focus on, or are you going to do all 10 pairs? If you're starting, do the 10 pairs. Take whatever alert comes your way. Myself and people that have been trading this system for a while, we're doing all 24, 25 currency pairs. Whatever shows up, we'll take it.
One thing I want to point out too, there was a question earlier. I found out when you load these up, sometimes this one here will allow DLL imports and allow allow DLL imports wasn't always checked. Make sure when you load your charts, make sure that's checked. And also with the push notifications, then just go up and make sure that that's all set. And then there was a problem earlier, someone mentioned about not getting the notifications. When I updated my Windows 10 on the VPS, that seemed to have fixed the problem for me. So I'll stop sharing. You can take it over there, Donta.
I'm writing out the pairs in the list. That's coming up often again, what the 10 currency pairs are.
Yeah, just throw them in the chat for people.
Yeah, I will. And you keep on going.
We're just chilling. We're just kind of hanging out, seeing what the market's going to give us.
Al, our Kiwi Swiss from this morning is about to take profit.
Yeah, I think I've taken a couple of profits on the trades we took this morning. Both of them are, yep, we have one more. Yep, one more to go for the 3 that we have.
There we go.
All of them were profitable today.
And in the meantime, I would like to repeat what Jackie stated yesterday and the day before. If you're on this call, we are assuming that you have gone through all the basic videos on AIRO, because some questions come up that tells us that you have, and you do yourself a disservice not to go through that training.
And not only that, Mariska, we've got a tremendous back office with a training program and the education that comes with your subscription that takes anyone, basically anyone from the beginning trader that's never doesn't even know what a pip is, to bring them up to a place where they can confidently start drawing on charts.
Absolutely.
That's all there. So there's some questions here that are coming up that shouldn't be, I'm not going to be rude, but there's sometimes we just shouldn't, it's already answered.
Just redirect. That's what I do. As I'm just like, hey, make sure we go back and check out strategy 1 in the back office. And for me, because people are hopping on the call at different times and blah, blah, blah. That's why it's like, I try to I'll read everybody's questions. And that's why I love having multiple people on the call. So that way we can have some that are just going through, making sure any pertinent questions get knocked out. We do have a lot of people that need that Hawkeye link, guys. Y'all missing out. These folks want the link, man.
I know. I'm trying to get it, but it's not revealing it in the channel. So I'm
no worries. Get in touch through Nate, and Bill will set up the automated notifications in.
Perfect.
Oh, okay. We'll send it right into the.
So if you're plugged into to the channels, you will.
If you're plugged into the Hawkeye channel, that generates the link every morning.
Yeah, but it's the Hawkeye channel link that I was trying to get.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can find it.
Maybe you could find it a little easier. I've got so much stuff on my screens right now. And I am writing out the 10 pairs, so give me a bit.
If you work in a team, you should be.
Don't you love YouTubeads?
See, Matt, check your Telegram. I sent you a link there. I want to see if that link will work and bring up the channel.
Perfect. And while we have another minute or two, I know we have We entered, I know I entered AN4. I do have another individual I'd love to introduce to everybody who is going to be one of our next educators as well. Mr. Charles Shotland now has been on pretty much every morning call with myself and has been asking the great questions. We've been talking a lot behind the scenes, and I just wanted to get everybody the opportunity to have an introduction to him as he's been on here and just crushing it with AIRO. He has a ton of data as well. He's very on top of his numbers. Kind of reminds me of Matt in a way too. So Charles, you here? Can you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm here. Everyone, I go by the initial CB. Yeah, I'm, like most of you listening in here, I'm pretty new to, everything. I've been trading AIRO since it was released to all of us. Maybe the one little leg up I have on some is I was a Series 7 stockbroker back in the 1990s, actually, and did a lot of trading with the internet stocks, and before the bubble burst. I was fortunate enough to kind of get out of that racket right before the big bubble burst on everybody. So had some wins and some losses back then, and kind of got into AP here about a year ago, using the strictly the expert advisors. And since AIRO has come out, this is what's really got me excited. Just the unbelievable potential here. I've been on every call and just doing the basics, guys. I've been demoing, some of the advanced strategies, but as far as my live account, I've been trading strictly on the Forex. I can tell you, not that, just doing strategy one, that's all I've done with Forex pairs. I have, this week I had 2 losses that brought me down to almost exactly 80% wins. And I've seen about a 43% return on investment since I've been doing AIRO over the last 2 months.
So in 2 months, you have a document. Wow. Wait,
Come on.
We got to run that back. And also, some people are saying in the chat too that the link that you guys sent them for the Hawkeye channel, it's not working for them. We're sending them to the, it's like a lock channel, I guess. So it'll be back. Thank you, Mariska. But CB, can you go ahead and just reiterate those numbers and where that data came from and how you got to the point of being that comfortable to trade AIRO live? And,
yeah, well, I would say this, first of all, that even prior to AIRO, I've been in some other groups where we were trading mainly crypto, which I'll be honest with you, I got my butt kicked a bunch of times doing that. So I came in with a certain comfort level in trading. But man, when I saw AIRO, it just blew me away. And I have been playing with crypto as well as indices and demo, but I'm not touching that stuff because Forex just seems so much more safe to me, and my results have been pretty remarkable to date. And again, just to reiterate, I am basically exactly right now at an 80% win rate, and I've my return on investment in 2 months is 43%.
Wow. Mic drop.
Well, that's hedge fund. That's hedge fund money. That's
It's
annual
amazing.
return on hedge fund. I don't have the exact numbers, but last year, #1 hedge fund in the U.S. or whatnot was like 53% for the full year that they would pay out. But in order to have access to that, guess what, guys? You need 6 figures. You pay an 8% upfront loading fee before you even make any money.
And like I said, I'm only doing strategy one. I've been on some of the late night calls looking to do the Asian breakout strategy. And I guess I did have 2 of those at one point prior to the holidays. But really it's just been strategy one.
Yeah, but Charles, that's what's working for you, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about consistency, and you got no FOMO. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. What matters is what's putting pips in the bank, what your win rate is, and what's working for you. If you're comfortable with that, keep on going.
I was just going to say, I'm really picky too. I am not breaking rules.
Well, that's why you got your win rate as such.
Yeah.
The pickier you can be, the better off. You know you've made it when you can start saying no to trades. When you think that you're taking every trade, you're in a dangerous spot. But when you can identify it and say, hey, this is not good for me, I'm not doing this, you're getting close to the spot where you need to be. Oh, sorry, guys. I don't mean to interrupt, but regarding the link I sent, it is a locked password. You need to go, if you want access to the Hawkeye channel or whatnot, you need to go in your back office. It's a protected link to protect the integrity of the company. So that link will not work for vast majority of people. But we will get it out to the AIRO, main AIRO chat when we talk to Bill and our IT team.
Perfect. Got a lot of questions about that. Right. So I'm just going through some of the questions that I see here.
Yeah, this has been, let's give you guys an idea. We've answered over 50 questions. There's still 26 pending.
Right.
So we're trying to filter through them, see what's making sense. Yeah, we did take the Aussie NZD. We did take that. Yes, and for the question regarding the wedge, do you draw a vertical line for TP once it breaks the wedge? The vertical line is drawn at the break of the wedge itself. So once it finally breaks the wedge, then you're good to go. But more to come later on. You know, we got lots of time.
Yeah, somebody has a good question too. Says I joined a little late, but I have a question on the time frames. If you're in school and don't have a lot of time to trade, can this help? Can this platform help you trade on the 1 hour and 4 hour time frame? I would say absolutely, unequivocally yes. It's just a different approach. If you're trading on the higher time frame, it doesn't limit you to just the money zone, but it does increase the level of patience that you're going to need to have for your moves to play out. But I believe that utilizing the higher time frame still on strategy one, just taking bag entries is still a very successful strategy. You just need to have higher stop losses and be more patient with your entries.
Yeah, just watch strategy 2.
Right.
In AP Academy. That will show you the higher time frames.
Charles, somebody said, was the 80% win rate only during New York, or were you staying up for London as well?
Most of my trading I've been doing from 6 a.m. to noon Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, I've been in a couple of Nate calls also at night. One other thing I want to add, because I haven't seen anybody talk about doing this too much, and this is one thing that I've done with a lot of trades, and I'd love to hear what you guys think of this. So, like even just using our current AN trade, what I will do often is, so the goal is 20 pips. And I will watch this trade. And when I see a trade get up to, say, 10 pips, 10 to 15 pips, I'll often, I won't sell, sell or close a portion of the trade. But what I'll do is move my stop loss up to, let's say, 5 pips. So now I think, okay, my worst case scenario is I make 5 pips, and then I'll actually watch it and maybe let my take profit either get rid of it or keep moving it up and follow that trend, if you will. So I've had wins where instead of ending up with 20 pips, I just keep following my stop loss up. So if I get to 20 pips and the trade still looks good, there's no resistance or support in the way, I'll keep following it up. So I end up doing, 28 pips or 33 pips and just keep moving my stop loss up and following that trend if there's room for it.
Do you do that manually, or do you use the trailing stop on the MT4?
No, I do. Yeah, I do it on the MT4. So in other words, I just take, just literally moving the lines up or down.
Yeah, but you're doing that manually.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so many, excuse me, there's so many different money management systems that are available and whatever's comfortable for you. Of course, what Charles is doing is I would say more intermediate to advanced money management, where what he's doing, unless it's not really clear, is he's taking risk-free trades. It's
Right.
he's never going to lose his trades.
Right. Once I get to I don't, and I don't always, it just depends on the chart, right? If there's a lot of room still, for the trend, then I don't always just jump out at 20 pips. If I feel like it's watching the chart, I will, put that stop loss to guarantee me a win, maybe a smaller win on the worst case, but then, improve my upside by either getting rid of the take profit and just manually closing the trade when I, feel it's a good time, or just moving that take profit up to, continue with that trend if there's room.
That's fantastic, because at the end of the day, what matters is what puts pips in the bank.
Yep.
You need to put pips in the bank. That's the end goal, really. And by doing that, it doesn't matter if you put 5 pips or whatever. You end the day at break even or more. That's a success in my book. Right. Your goal as a trader is to end with the same amount of capital that you had or more. So by taking these trades and doing that more advanced or intermediate type of money management system, it's brilliant. Look at that trade.
For gold?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I took it, but it is a downturn. You got 4 versus 2. I don't love it. I don't love it as much as the other ones.
No,
I
don't touch gold though, so it's outside of my comfort zone. I know what I know, and I know what I feel comfortable in. So just like Charles, I'm not going into crypto. I'm only starting to dabble in indices, but I'm staying way away from gold and metals.
That's demo area mainly for me. It's very rare that I will put a place a trade on gold. But that's more when you see what's going on in the markets and you know that the move that just started will continue for a bit. That's when the world gets crazy.
Yeah. So we got a great question here. Does AIRO send out 1-hour alerts or only 15? That is exclusively based on what you have placed in your MetaTrader 4 platform in the VPS. So if Don wants to do 4 hours or even daily, he can put daily on his charts, and it will start sending daily AIRO alerts. Or he could change it to 4-hour. You want to do position size, position trading or swing trading, or it's a whole different game. There's no limit to what you can do. Just as you can scale up, you can also scale down to something like Coach Mo, where she's on the 5 and the 1, and she's killing it.
Just keep in mind that the number of notification sounds that your mobile starts making can vary a lot. So if you're on 15 minutes, there are 4 times an hour that you will get notifications. If you're on a 1-hour chart, it's once.
Yeah, you'll get to a point where you get too many notifications and you kind of become immune to them. And it's not great. Like I've got 15 minutes running on 25 charts. So I can get anywhere from 1 to 4 alerts every 15 minutes. That's a lot of trades, guys. There's a lot of opportunities, and sometimes they're not all great.
Absolutely. Learning how to discern between which trades you want and don't want is major. I love how this is lining up potentially long-term though for AN. Because our uptrend is just super, super clear when you kind of go to a higher time frame and zoom out. So we're like tapping into strategy too a little bit. The uptrend is just super strong, and we're kind of sitting right on it.
Oh, that's a nice pullback.
Yeah,
that's a really nice pullback.
I would love to see this come down, and then maybe like an hour or two, a couple hours from now, get it up arrow on the H1 for AN, and then you could hold this thing for a while, because after that, then you'd be looking for it to come break and even go higher than its own. And see. But this is all just based off of starting here with this arrow here for 20 pips. Like once this hits TP, take your money and run. I'll probably leave a small position open from from my entry, and then just see how long she goes up. I'm learning how to trade strategy 2 with AIRO more. So it's not anything I'm like super proficient at yet. But working with Jackie and already understanding how to trade, just kind of using this to correlate is great. Even right here, you see a bank induction move that we just talked about a few minutes ago. Right here, same trend. Uptrend is super strong. You get a down arrow directly into the trend, and you could have entered right here and then took this up and had this up arrow and been able to ride it out. So it is. It's like the pieces of the puzzle are kind of like starting to click even more.
Isn't that the fun with Forex, that you keep on learning, that you keep on getting new insights, you learn from other traders?
Absolutely.
Aussie NZD, I have a feeling, not a feeling, but I think we're going to get a little bit more pullback before it comes up.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Patient about it. Any rumors of a future scanner? Not sure what that means. What kind of scanner?
Do you remember there was mention at one time about instead of having it all on MT4 that there would be a scanner or whatnot?
Yeah, Nate was working on that.
So where it's only on one pair and it's scanning all the charts?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
Definitely know he's working on that. So you'll be pretty much like it'll be AIRO on one chart, and then you'll tell that chart basically which pairs you want it on, and then it'll be able to like give you notifications from the 5 minute to the 4 hour for each pair without like you can have, it doesn't matter what time frame you have it set on, it'll give you a notification for whichever pair you ask it to. So I kind of saw
that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. I know it's going to take a while to like perfect and implement, but it's going to make it a lot easier for people to utilize.
Is that Nate here?
Is that Nate in the chat?
Yeah.
Nate's in the chat?
Yeah.
No one happy with V2? Bro, what I tell you about getting on calls and not saying something, man? Hold on now. You know,
come on.
He already knows it's about to happen now. Hold on. He ain't say nothing this whole time.
It's the big AIRO boss.
Yeah, I wonder how long he's been there.
Right. Just scoping us out.
I know he is.
What's going on, chat?
Good morning. Good morning, AIRO family.
What's going on,
brother? Good morning.
Good morning, Chief.
Y'all doing all right this morning?
Reporting for duty, just like you asked.
And we're catching pips. We're catching pips, locking in profits, teaching, having a blast with the community that we have here. You know, we're just so thankful for what you put together and the math behind it. You know, this is what I
appreciate it. I appreciate it. I couldn't do anything else, you guys. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys got to follow the rules and apply it. So you guys are doing it. So at the end of the day, you guys are doing the heavy lifting. I made a comment because I wanted to actually talk about the version everyone's talking about. It's already done. I will be working with Tyler to ensure that we have no issues with it, being because it is actually managed by an EA. So an EA manages version 4. I actually will start using it live probably tonight when I get back on for London session. But it's been done for about a week or two. I'm going to make a couple of quick changes to it. I'm going to add ADR to it, and I'm going to add the direction. That way, whatever time frame you are on, you already know what direction the trend is, based on the number of zones. As I teach you guys, count the zones. And so I want to add those two to it. That way, if you know the direction is up and you get a notification that you have a sale entry, it doesn't match. Therefore, you shouldn't even waste your time looking at the chart. Unless you're looking for a different strategy, but any strategy that deals with the arrows, you'll know already what the overall trend is. So add those two, and then I don't know, maybe March, beginning of March, sometime in March, I'm believing we should be. I'm sorry, February. I apologize, February. We should be good to go.
So V3 this weekend, and then V4 in a few weeks.
Correct.
Exciting times in part of this community, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. And I think that'll fix a lot of those notification issues too, because it's going to be running the EA on the one pair. So it should be just super, super light and easy on the CPU. which is great news for us. Powerful stuff.
Got a question here about,
Sure.
I don't do bank induction strategy, so it's outside of my realm.
Oh yeah, Nate, I need you. Right.
Come on now. Would you take the bank induction trade outside of the money zone on the M1 or the M4
You
time
said the
frame?
M1?
Yeah, monthly. Are you sure about
About the
this?
monthly or the minute one? Wait.
No, I think that's a typo. That he meant 1 hour or 4 hour.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm like the monthly, bro. What?
Yeah. Hey, I'm reading them as they come in. I can't interpret.
Nate, I was going on. I just been getting more confidence and just reading and learning about the bank induction moves that you showed me about it like a little over a month ago. I think it was NZD/USD we were looking at. I wanted to see what you had thought, and can you just refresh all of us actually on what a bank induction move is, how your entry will work with one, because I know you kind of went over this on your night session. So I got a lot of people that are asking. I feel like if it's as simple as kind of you explained it to me, that is very easy to understand. I haven't taken any live trades on it yet. I've just been noticing and watching every move and kind of waiting for the second arrow to kind of align. But when I was looking at NU earlier, because Matt had brought it up, I saw that was this a potential bank induction move that was down here. And then, wait, I zoomed out too much. Down here, and then another potential one that was here because we know the direction of the trend. Can you kind of just tap in on that for me a little bit and let me know if my understanding is correct?
Yeah, sure. So the bank induction move is going to be strategy number 10. It's a move that, again, I can't take credit for it. It's not a move that I created. This is a move that's created by Bobby Will. So everyone who knows Bobby Will from the Pipology team, he and I were actually on a 5-hour Zoom call, and I was explaining to him about the market maker method, which that video will be coming out today. And then, he started to share with me about institutional trading. And while we were on the chart, he saw it. He was like, "Hey, let's start looking at those type of entries because it goes hand in hand with I guess, with the way that they actually trades the markets." So strategy, the bank induction move number 1, the reason why it's the 10th strategy and not the 9th is because you need to understand how strategy number 9 works out, which is the one that drops today. As long as you are within the market maker cycle, as long as you can identify you're in the market maker cycle, you will have a high probability chance of being able to take some of the bank induction moves to town, be able to cash in on those. If you're outside that cycle or you're at the end of the cycle, it's just ranging, those are the times where you may actually lose the most. So that, and I've only identified 15-minute time frame and the H1 as being the most successful with the bank induction move. Now, bank induction, what does that mean? So in a nutshell, let me just see. Everyone believes the banks are the ones that actually move the market, and the actual people that actually move the market are called market makers, because the market makers actually create the bid and the ask. The market makers also match up trades. So for every buy trade, there's a sell, and so they got to put you on the other side of that trade. So the market makers are the ones that actually create the market. If they're creating the bid and ask, and again, the bid and ask are the two lines that you see with price. As price moves up, you have a red line and a white line, or whatever colors you have them. When you buy at the ask. When you sell at the bid. So because they're the ones making the buy, the bid, and the ask prices for every currency pair out there, they are the ones that actually move the market. And they can see everything. They can see where your entries are at. They can see where your take profits are at. They can see where your stop losses are at. They can see if you are in margin call. So everybody that's in margin call, they can see how much money is in margin call, and they can run it up to blow your account if they, if they choose so. Because their strategy is they move to where the money is at. All right. So the banks understand this. Heck, some of the banks used to be market makers, and so what they do is the banks. So for example, in that uptrend on that NU, on that uptrend there. What the banks are seeing, actually. What do you look? Is this in you're on right now?
You can go ahead and share your screen.
Oh, I'm on my phone, so I'm moving around.
Got you.
All right, so that Baker Dutch move there. Can you kind of highlight and circle that Baker Dutch move right there, where you're at right there?
So I'm right here, correct? Or we're talking about this recent one up here, potentially?
The previous one.
This right here.
Yep, that one right there.
Perfect.
All right, so as you can see here, there is an arrow pointing to a candlestick that is into the support. We would necessarily not trade into the support. However, what you want to do is, because we know that the overall trend is up, and we know that the market maker trend is up. I can actually see the trend now, and it look, then guess what? I'm going to take that move. The last one I would not have taken, and there's a reason why I would have taken the last one, because I can see that the market maker trend is over with. I'm not going to expose it right now. It's a lot of teaching on it, but I can see that actually the market maker move is over with. It's at the end of its up cycle, so it may actually look for a retrace here and break through that zone is what I would expect it to do, or I would expect it to just go into a ranging period. So when the actual market maker move, their trend is over, then you have what's called a period of ranging, or they will immediately go into reversal. All right. So the reason why that first one worked, here's how it works. Because as I explained to you, the market makers move the market based on where they see money at. All right. The market maker cycle was up. The banks know that. So the banks sell to buy. All right. And they buy to sell, which sounds crazy. So in this instance right here on that bank induction move, they sold so they can buy. Now, what does that mean? Well, they know the market makers move the market, right? So what they do is they will entice the market makers. You see that before that bank induction move, price was about 15, 20 pips higher. There's a little peak there before that bank induction move. What the banks would do, the banks say, I've got $250 million that I want to go ahead and put into the market. And so guess what? The bank does what? The bank will look to see if there's enough liquidity in the market, because there has to be a buyer for every seller. So if they're putting $250 million into the market on one trade, they have to have equal amount of sellers, because they're looking to buy. Because remember, there has to be money on the opposite side of the trade. All right. So what they do is they will put $50 million down there where that bank induction move is at. They're selling $50 million. And then guess what? That's why that move was there. If you look before that bank induction move, you had a bag entry. It reversed and came back down because the bank said, there's not enough liquidity in the market. Let me put $50 million down here in a pending order so that the market makers will go ahead and move the bid and ask down to go get that money, right? They know that the overall cycle is up. So they're going to put it down on the downside, down there below current entry, so that the market makers can move the market down there to go get that money. But here's what happens. Most retail traders don't have AIRO. So most retail traders also don't understand support and resistance. Last night on my call, I trained on, we talked about major and minor structure in the market. And it really played out very well last night with some of the trades that stalled out at certain areas. And then, when they broke certain areas, how we saw price really move. But because of AIRO and you have the zone right there, you are not going to take a sell trade. But here's the beautiful thing. Everyone knows all strategies we use. They know Fibonacci. They know MACD, flip. They know the 50 over the 200. They know the 13 over the 50. Whatever strategy you use, RSI, off the 70, RSI off the 30. They know every strategy, every indicator that's out there. And so what they do is they will put price, or they'll put the actual money in a certain area so that price will retrace far enough to do what? To trigger all your strategies to say sell. So now everyone is selling. Oh, I got a retrace on the RSI. I'm selling, sell. The uptrend is over with. Everybody's selling because all their strategies start to trigger. And then guess what? After the bank puts their $50 million there, and the market maker goes down to get it, then there's a $250 million trade placed a little higher, and the bank and the market maker say, okay, I'm done. I've got enough money. and they turn around and they continue into the market maker's trend, which the bank already knows because they can identify it. Therefore, the banks buy to sell and sell to buy. So they had to sell in that situation right there a certain amount of money to get the market maker to move the market down there and entice retail traders like us to actually put money into the market so that there's enough money for them to do what? For them to turn around and place $250 million on a buy. Because like I explained, guys, they have to have enough liquidity in the market, enough sales, so they can actually buy. So they got to entice people to buy, to sell. So what they do is they bribe everybody to sell. They put a buy in the direction of the overall trend. The market maker picked up $50 million down there, saw 250, went back, got that, and then took off in their overall direction. That is why when that bank induction move happens, in the inside of the market maker's cycle, their trend, you don't sell. Even though it's a down arrow into the zone, you just actually take the opposite trade. And you take the opposite trade, and you can see very quickly that literally after that candle, you hit buy, the price moved away from that zone very quickly. And that's because the market maker had enough money. If you see that, like for example, with M's and W's, and they typically have a lot of wicks towards for M towards the top, for the W towards the bottom. That's because M's and W's are just the market makers being greedy. They go down there, they get their money, or they go up there and get the money, they make the first peak, and then they start to head back in their direction they want to. So if it's an M, if it's a W, they start to head back into a buy, M and the sell, and then guess what? They see more money come up there. So they go back up there and get it and make that double top or that double bottom, which makes the market look like a M or a W. And then they do what? Then they get out of Dodge. They get all the money they need and they get out of Dodge. That's how the bank induction moves. Again, that strategy comes out next week. Strategy, again, created by Mr. Bobby Will, but that is the actual theory behind the actual bank induction process, the strategy right there. It's all about the banks and how they actually trade. And the reason why they can do this is because they have all your money in the bank, unlimited money. So you think the money's there, but it's really in the Forex market. And then also that sale trade, that $50 million they put to entice everybody, because they have an unlimited piggy bank, they're going to leave their trade open. It's still open. They're just leaving it open because they know what? They know the market maker cycle is going to change and come back to the same price, because that's what price does. It always comes back to the same point. And guess what? They will either break even or make a little bit of money on that $50 million sale. And I'll show you guys in a video of exactly that, when they leave the trade open and then where the price comes all the way back to that same point, so they can get out. And so they trade unfairly. If you had unlimited funds, you could do the same thing. You could do the exact same thing, but you don't. Neither do I. So we have to be smarter than those guys and learn to identify the market maker cycle, so we can then do what? We can always make sure we're on the right side of the market maker cycle. And the zones allow us to do that, just because these zones are areas of support resistance, and support and resistance are nothing but areas of liquidity. Liquidity meaning areas where there are a lot of money. People are putting their stop losses, their pending orders in these areas, which create, move price to that area repeatedly over and over again, which causes the zones to pop up. That's all support and resistance are. They're just areas of liquidity where there's a lot of money, whether it be current money, like stop losses, or pending orders that need to be triggered.
Nate, that's fantastic. That's a lot of info. That's a mouthful. We just got a question in the chat there, my friend. It says, how would you use a commitment of traders report in your strategy when you're dealing with the market maker trading?
I don't know what that is. Say it again now.
It's commitment of traders. It's basically a report that comes out, and it's the institutional traders and where the big money is gonna go into. Honestly, I can't answer that. I don't know.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that tool. I've never utilized it tool. I've never even heard of that tool. One that I may bring, and we'll figure out how to do so. We got, let me see here. If we got 200 people on the call, I might give you guys in
The Commitment of Trader report, Nate, is a report
The COT
that shows the total on long positions and net positions of currency.
Okay, cool. Never heard of it. I may have seen it, but I've never heard of it with that name. But now that you say that, that sounds familiar. I think I've seen some reports like that that show that. But no, I don't use that. The tool that I like to use, or I'm starting to like to use, I just really started using it last year, is the order block tool. So you can kind of see where the actual order blocks are at, the institutional money, the big money that's coming on, and the volume, and at what price. So order blocking is that tool is a tool I like, but the COT I've never used it. If someone could DM me the information, I'll definitely take a look at it. I'll tell you guys next generation of AIRO, and we'll see how this works. I've got to talk with the Auvoria Prime development team, but the next generation of AIRO is that once we're done with strategies, is to start bringing into the overall system. How do I say it? Coupling indicators. So I would like to add, somewhere between 3 to 5 custom indicators that will go hand in hand in helping you to, be more profitable potentially with AIRO. Like customary, like order block, indicator, or what. There's a couple others that I don't want to give away, but that's kind of next generation. So if COT, there's anything out there like that may be a custom indicator, it may be something that if I see it's beneficial and it works within the realm of the strategies for AIRO, it could be a indicator that we can potentially add later on as a additional add-on, as I call it. So imagine having AIRO, and then depending on what strategy you use, you have a add-on indicator to go with it, just to help you identify your entry and exits a little more precisely. So that's phase 2 of AIRO, which would be later on this year once we've deployed everything in phase 1.
Lots of nuggets.
Someone had a mention about the Aussie NZD, about the zones. Were they repainted or were they destroyed? For the people who had zones, Nate. So we had something happen where we had different brokers, and certain brokers would have zones and certain other brokers would not. So in what we saw, some brokers had 3 zones, 3 red zones, and some of us had no red zones except just green zones.
So with that being said, sometimes I've noticed, and this is what I've also been working on until the next version, is that as you change time frames, it doesn't always pick up all the zones. So what you want to do is, if you change time frames, you may want to reapply the indicator if it looks weird, like some missing zones from the previous time frame you came from. That's number 1. That typically helps. I see that myself.
Good. Okay.
Number two, if you've reapplied it and everything stays the same, then that's your broker. Every broker is going to have, because the zones are based off of price. There's a lot of formulas behind the actual platform, behind the program for what creates the actual zones, but it's all indicative of price. So, and as we know, brokers have different prices. I'm logged into 2 different brokers. So not last night, but the night before, I showed this exact, that similar question came up, and I showed them. Actually, kept coming up throughout the night because they didn't have the same setup as I did, and I had to explain to them that different brokers have different price points. Therefore, different price points are going to potentially have different zones in different areas, or no zones at all, or zones when I don't have zones. And so it's all based off of price of the broker. And I think I showed what the 2, I had logged into 2 different brokers, and I was showing how some of the charts were different, and that's all based off of price. So that's really what it comes down to.
Great stuff.
Hey, this is a record, Don. We've got 84 questions. And we've
Yeah.
Yeah. So this would be impossible if we didn't have a panel like we did. Impossible. This format's working out really well. Do you have any other trades that you see that could be potentially?
Nothing that lines up great. Like I was hoping that we would get a down arrow on UCAD. We kind of started to see.
I was looking for that too.
It could happen still. We just haven't nothing. We're gonna wait until. I mean, I like that NU and UCAD, but they both kind of went away from what we thought they were going to do temporarily. We'll kind of see how things play out. I think we're sitting at like 4 or 5 pips profit now for AN. We got in right after this candle, so we're just kind of letting that flow. I see some people saying that for LQB, I guess it broke whatever red zone they have here, and then a couple people on LCMFX still have a zone or two. So it's kind of interesting to watch everything play out. I'm going to hold and see.
Have you guys taken any trades today?
Yeah, this one here. We're in it now. Or at least I'm in it now. I'm not gonna say we, speak for myself.
Yes.
But yeah, so we took this bag entry trade. I think that Matt kind of brought to my attention. We got a strong uptrend here with AN when we zoom out. Then we got a bounce. We got an arrow. So we entered the trade.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's textbook, my friend.
Pretty much.
Classic.
Well, look how much room you got till that next red zone, guys.
No, I'm like, bruh. And then that's what made me want to go to the higher time frame. And I'm thinking, like, if we get some more, if this MA comes below it and price closes above it, don't be shocked if during today or even during, I told Nate this the other day too, that during Asian session from like 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern to like maybe like 7 p.m. Eastern to maybe 11 p.m. Eastern, the AUD pairs also move as well during that time frame. And that's when a lot of the Australian banks and stuff are open. I actually talk to my Australian team all the time from that same time frame. So you'll see movement during that time. So like, don't be shocked if that's when the arrow came in this scenario. And for those who are like starting to learn more about long-term and more swing trading, and then you can kind of take an entry there, hopefully, and we'll see if it goes up to a new high, or if it, stops right here and shoots continuing down. We'll see. It's the best part about trading is that we're kind of like playing it out. But I love how things are beginning to correlate. I'm hoping that trading is making a lot more sense to everybody. If you were on every call this week, there's no way you haven't leveled up. Just because of the amount of content and just the knowledge that has been on here has been incredible.
So Nate, I'll send you screenshots of the 2 trades that we took in our 7:30 session this morning. So we had 2 really nice setups. We used a little bit of a wedge strategy to get in a tighter entry. Both of them hit take profit, and I'm just sitting in here with Don enjoying this this Aussie NZD trade.
Nice. Look forward to it. Looking forward to it. I love the wedges. They are powerful.
Let's say Euro JPY. Let's see.
So for those who were able to get on at least 2 or 3 or all 3 calls, sounds like you made pretty good money. I know we caught some trades last night. You guys got some trades this morning. So I hope you guys are getting the value on both sides from an education standpoint and from a monetary standpoint. And like, Donta said, leveling up your knowledge of trading, but then also leveling up your accounts at the same time.
Absolutely.
And for those who are in here that are also on the business side of Auvoria Prime, if you share your excitement about the AIRO live calls on your timeline, people will get into your inbox. I promise you, they will.
They really will, though. I completely agree. You share the excitement, you share people that are actually on here, enjoying trades, potentially making money. You'll definitely get some DMs. So yeah, so we got 30 minutes left on the session. It's great stuff. Hopefully we can get another entry. I'd love to see an arrow come for this EU CAD drop or this NU buy. But until then, we'll wait it out. We're in AN. We'll wait that out as well. AN it is a kind of a slow moving pair. That's why also the 10 pairs that Nate recommends, they do move a lot faster than the other Forex pairs. That's just the truth. Like the GBP pairs and then the 4 euros that he recommends. their ADR, they get a lot more pips down on a day-by-day basis. So other pairs sometimes take a little longer to do what they're going to do. You just got to wait it out.
I got a question. If the call of today is recorded and will be posted to Telegram, guys, these live sessions are live sessions. And if we would have to record all live sessions and post them to Telegram, there wouldn't be enough hours in a week for you to go through everything that's available. If you continue to attend these live calls, everything that you learned today, it will come back at a certain point in time. There will be repetition.
Yeah, because there's only so much we can talk about.
Right.
You know, it's some of the things that we talk about with wedges. Guess what? Maybe it's the first time you ever saw a wedge, you ever heard of it. That's fine. Don't worry. Just put it in the back of your head. And then when we see wedges again, or we see a wedge pattern show up, or whatnot, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember Matt showed me this, or I remember Al, or we went over that. And as you become more observant and you see, and you show up and you participate, it's going to become more familiar, and you'll feel more and more comfortable with it.
Yeah, I got like 4 questions. People saying something about EJ. EJ is a downtrend, and our last arrows were up arrows. That's why we ignored it, just in case.
Oh yes, good catch. I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, so we're not touching EJ, guys.
Now again, if you see different number of zones on your chart comparing to what you see on Donta's chart, that's just because you have a different broker.
So for the panel, I mean, when y'all gonna start getting on London session with me, man? Y'all got all the people, all the support stuff.
I ain't trying to steal my people, bro.
Hey,
Listen,
man,
come on, man.
I've been solo dolo, man.
I only missed this morning. I'm on every call. I'm setting my alarm in the middle of the night for you, Nate.
Believe it or not,
you do be on. I don't. Did I see you last night? I got to start bringing you on the panel so you can talk as well and help me out. I'll be having cotton mouth and.
I went to bed last night just before the London session opened, but I had to be up by 6:30 for my session, so I didn't quite make it.
Right, we have a really early morning.
I would love to do the London session.
Just roll into London. I mean, just go roll into New York. Stay up.
I may have to do an all-nighter one of these days.
Maybe once a week, Al.
That's when I miss Nate's call.
Yeah, maybe that's something we can do now. Maybe we can tag team and one open up and one do the London session, and the other guy opens up the next session for that night.
Yeah, I think that might work.
That might work.
We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out when the time comes. But yeah, I've got 2 little ones that I've got to balance as well. So staying up that late could be problematic during the day.
I hear you, bro. I feel the same way. I'm like, man, them London session late nights is just makes it tough.
Well, you got to support the wife, right?
Come on, man. You hear it.
I do like that time of the night, though. I do enjoy those that quietness of the nighttime.
It's so much fun because for you it's all the late night time. For me, it's really the early morning. But
yeah.
I work with US people all the time. I tend to live on kind of a US schedule, so my nights are kind of odd. That's short.
CJ is another one. I would like a down arrow on. That might happen during London. You got to bounce here, wait it out. But if we get one to the south, that'd be not a bad entry as well.
So we got a question. We got a question about the Aussie Kiwi there. Did you keep your stop at 40, or did you raise it up because too much strength?
I never set it at 40.
No, exactly. So we mentioned earlier that there was a very strong green zone down there. So this is up to you. This is depending on your comfort zone and what you're comfortable doing. No one can tell you where to put your stop loss and take profit. That's up to you exclusively and your system and how you feel like trading.
Okay, so we entered around this region. 40 pips would bring you right here, or like right about here. So like 1.075, 1.0744. around that space. For me, I set my TP around like the 25-ish pip area, like pretty much at the bottom of the zone. And realistically, like I would be fine. Like how if there was no AIRO involved and I was just looking at the chart and entering the trade, it would be pretty much below my previous low. So I would look at like the biggest spike that we see here, right here, and then have my stop loss in that region. So it's like for me, it's the 40 pips is really for the beginner and the basic person, so that way you don't have to go figure out where you want to set it at or your zone. Like you just follow the rules, boom, boom, boom. You enter 20 pip top loss, 40 pip take profit. But as we grow and develop, you can use when you have more confidence in your trades, this will give you the confidence to use higher lot sizes, and then you can use even, not to say like higher lot sizes on smaller accounts, but typically the rule of thumb that people will go is 0.01 per $100 to keep things simple. But as we learned yesterday, each currency pair has a different value for how many, for what kind of lot size that you're using for it. And that can empower you based on where your stop loss is and how much you want to risk per trade to use a higher lot size. So it's just things that you want to learn and become more comfortable. Like I know some people that will have their stop loss like literally tight enough to where you would see it right here on the screen, like right here under this previous low for what, 10 pips, if that. And that's to their own, to their own choosing. So it's like you are going to get comfortable and kind of have to make your own determination of how much money you're willing to risk per potential good trade opportunity.
That's solid. We have a question in the chat about trading times and what some of us have scheduled. I can talk about the morning session because that's what I do. Al and I. So we're taking usually about 6:30 in the morning. We'll trade from 6:30 in the morning till about 11:30 or so. After 11:30, the market gets really slow, consolidates really hard. I stop trading. I don't want to be sitting in that consolidation.
Talking about Eastern time,
trying
right,
to figure
Mets?
Eastern time, yes. Thank you, Mariska. Yes, Eastern time. So 6:30 or so till about 11:30 Eastern time. And then if we're doing something at night, what would you say, Nate, since you're the night hawk after all?
I missed it. What would I say about what as far as?
Sorry, the times that you trade, like your trading schedule, you would be like after midnight, right? Midnight Eastern time till about morning in Europe.
Money zone. I trade money zone, so I trade only within the money zone. Now, typically, for me, I'm not. It all depends on how the market is moving, but typically the last hour to maybe hour and a half of the money zone, I may not put a trade on it. Unless there's some good movement in the market. But typically inside the money zone, that 12-hour time frame.
And Nate is trading live usually from 1 a.m. Eastern to 4 a.m. Eastern. So it's like if you're up paying attention, then you could be on from Nate's session from 1 a.m. to 4. Potentially hop on with Matt and Al at 6:30, around 6:37. And then we start this call on Tuesdays to Thursdays at about 9. But we're looking to have at least the 12 hours of the money zone covered, pretty much at least for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we're kind of putting the pieces together, probably want this all to look. But there's a lot of live education available for you.
Just a quick correction though about the time. So we the earliest we start is 7:30 Eastern.
7:30.
Yeah, because any earlier than that, it's hard, man.
Nah, I feel that. I don't want to force it. You take what's available. Lots of information. So I caught 2 of the 3 wins with Nate. Good stuff. Matt and Al are going to be posting that link. You'll see it in the AIRO announcements chats in the mornings. Somebody just asked how can they jump on.
Yeah, we're gonna get with the team there and find out how to include ours in the AIRO chats so that we inform as many people and we keep them all in the loop.
Nate is already communicating with Bill about that.
Perfect. Well, that's easy. We had a question early on in the session that we kind of went over a little bit, but we were talking about lot size. So lot size, we talked in depth yesterday about lot size, position size, and whatnot, and how it differs from currency pair to currency pair. So that's a loaded question. And maybe we
just stick to the rule of thumb. For people who are new, rule of thumb is just 0.01 per $100 in your account.
Just keeps it super simple, and that way we don't have to do too much thinking. We stick to strategy one, super basics, and then for those, as you learn, you'll be able to level up.
Yeah, and 0.01 lot size is equivalent to like 10 cents. So basically your 10 cent, every time price moves 10 cents, it's going to go 10 cents for you or against you. As a general rule with USD correlated pairs. The other correlated pair, or the other pairs have a slightly different value, and we're going to get you a calculator that we're working on probably end of the week. We'll have it available for Mariska so that she can go over and make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's from a compliance standpoint, and then we'll make it available to the company as a whole.
Perfect.
So I see somebody asking a question, has anyone ever used AIRO to get funded, funded accounts? I can tell you guys, we have a FTMO group just for AIRO. And I can tell you the first guy passed today in that group, and we just started it on Monday. So again, we're doing the free trial, but there are a total of 6 people that I know using AIRO, and they have officially passed the verification stage with the FTMO or another platform using the AIRO software, and have actually, 2 of those 6 have actually made withdrawals successfully as well. So AIRO is being utilized on funded accounts. We're going to have a lot more testimonies coming from that, from our FTMO group, as they, I think we've got 2 or 3 more that may complete their passing the test, today, tomorrow, maybe even Monday. So it is possible to be funded and get funded with AIRO. If your philosophy of trading, if that's your philosophy of trading, it's funny. Donta, I guess it came up Tuesday morning, and so they asked me about it Wednesday morning. So they landed session that night. I said, "Hey, Donta thinks fund FTMO and funded accounts is a gimmick. What are your thoughts?" They put me on the spot. So
we had a discussion about that last week.
Yeah, so QB Stu was on the call, and he chimed in as well. But it was really just based on different philosophies. And as you become more of a trader, you'll understand more about it. But we pretty much left it at that. That it's really based on preference and trading philosophy and current amount of money you have in your bank account at the time. So.
Yeah, it's just about numbers for me, man. Like, it's not that I think it's a gimmick or sham, as if like they won't pay somebody out who completes it and does the right thing. Like, I know people who have withdrawals and taking their money in, so that's not that wasn't my point. Is for anybody, for clarity. My point is the narrative that I feel like people sometimes just ignore the numbers of looking at the reality of what we're doing and what's the point. So when you hear FTMO and you hear about funded accounts, what it is called a prop firm, and what they're doing is basically individuals who have large amounts of money are looking for good traders to be able to trade their money at a safe risk, and then be able to do whatever split whatever split they're going to do with you is individual to that spot. But why I think it leans on the gimmicky side is, one, because everybody, whether you're good, great, bad, or terrible trader, is talking about it right now. And anytime something like that happens, to where a lot of people are talking, like a lot of people who may not have any experience, or like somebody walks up to me and only been trading 2 days, and like, Donta, I want to do FTMO. And I'm like, if you can't take a $100 account to $200 account, what's the point of focusing and trying to get an FTMO account? And then when you look at the details of what's actually happening, having a 5% max risk total does protect the person's money But as the trader, for me, I'm not like, I don't trade where I would limit myself to a 5% max drawdown. And when I hear a lot of people talking about it, they're like, hey, I want to trade a 100K account. I want to do FTMO because I want a 100K account. When in reality, you can only trade $5,000 of that account. So like at no point in time can you go lower than that as far as drawdown is concerned. And if you do, they'll cut you off. And so when I was talking to Nate this weekend, we're like, it costs what, like $500, $600 to really get if you're not going to do the free trial, you're going to really go through and try to get, go through the system. You got to pay $600 to do so. And my point to him, and my point is to everybody, is that you could take a $600 account to $5,000.
Trading accounts.
Exactly. Like that, it doesn't, you don't have to pay somebody to get access to their money, especially if it's not like their money is unlocked. It's not like you're getting 100K and you really can go trade 10 lots, 20 lots and flip air. Like that's not what you can do. It's like in reality, it's like you still have to maintain solid risk. And if you can do that with their money, you can do that with your money.
Yeah, and on top of that, in the first part of the challenge, there is a goal of a certain amount of profit that you have to realize. The risk in, especially for people who are not really experienced, is that they start chasing the money. And that's so opposite from the philosophy within Auvoria Prime and what we try to teach people, that is that you wait for the right entry points. It needs to fit your strategy and not chasing the money, just waiting for the perfect entry points.
I'm not discouraging.
Go ahead and drop the link. We got a lot of people asking for the link to the FTMO chat. If you have that available for people, I say go get your knowledge and go learn because AIRO works. So it's like I don't think that you're going to win and it's going to work for you. I just think that it kind of limits to what you can do. So go ahead, Matt. I just want to let Nate go. If you got the link, drop that.
No, you're fine. Hey, so what I was going on to is, guys, the failure rate for FTMO. I don't have the exact numbers, but I can tell you it's in the upper 90%.
It has to be, because all those times that people pay the $600 is the money that they will use to fund the accounts that go through.
If you haven't been trading for a couple of years, stay the heck away from it. Like don't exercise your energy, the limited amount of energy that you have and stuff. Like stay away from it. Just worry about what you're doing now. But if you really want to pursue it. Understand all the conditions. Go read the terms and conditions. Right? Like get what Don was talking about is 5% drawdown. That's not one trade. That's the entire account. If you have a bad day, you don't pay attention to the news events, you don't pay attention to this, one little thing can happen and you're out. That's $600 out of your pocket. You fail. And there's no arguing with that. They're not going to give it back to you or whatnot. Oh, I didn't see that red news folder. It's not, unless you know what you're doing, stay away from FTMO.
Yeah, solid advice in this case.
Go ahead, Nate, and please drop the link for the folks that need it anyway. I'm all for letting folks go learn their own lessons. I just for me as I guess an educator role now, when people ask me about it and I get a question over and over again and over and over again, and I'm like, dude, you've been trading for 2 months, 3 months. You can't like even make 20% of your own live money. It's like, why spend $600 for a 100K pipe dream when it's not even like you're really getting that?
No, so it's comparable to people who have been trading for 2 months and then they start offering signal services online.
Oh, Lord, help them.
And then when you ask them, do you have a tracker? Yeah. You get a screenshot from their last 2 trades. Like, yeah, right, I'll pass.
We're all on Facebook, right? We get those all day.
Exactly.
All day we get those. Show us your last trades. Oh, great.
Yeah, do you have a MyFX book? No, you can join my Telegram channel. And that's not what I'm asking.
Go ahead, Nate. I see you unmuted.
So, yeah, I'll put it this way. So there's a couple strategies behind why the FTMO group has been created. So for those who want to get access to it, you have to create the free trial, 14-day free trial. No one is doing the paid right now. But there will be a official and exclusive FTMO group for those who actually pass. Now, again, there's a video that I made where it's more like a live Zoom call I had with the original crew where we talked about what FTMO is. You can go in there and watch that. There's going to be rules, we talk about on, before you go, try to pay the $600 if that's what you want to do. But the real premise behind it is to show the world that more or less two things. For those who want to be less aggressive, those who want to have more precise entries, those who want to fine tune their trading to where they have very little drawdown. There are some traders that have have philosophies like that, where they believe in having very little risk in the market, but high reward. This is a perfect setup for you. Then there are other traders that are a little more aggressive, that don't care about having 20, 25% drawdown on a trade because they know where it's going, and they feel comfortable with that level of risk. So if you are someone who likes the tight stop loss and a low risk, FTMO could be a platform for you, because it goes with your trading psychology. That's really what it comes down to, just your style, your trading psychology. And then also, we're utilizing, FTMO to practice on that. So we're going to do the free trial over and over again. Those who want to take the those who actually want to take the paid verification can do so, allowing them to the opportunity to be unlocked. I can tell you, it's a privilege, I guess, or like a badge of honor for traders to pass the FTMO challenge. And so we just want to be able to show the world that AIRO is a tool that you can use to do so. I'm actually partnering with a couple traders, very, very good traders from Dubai, and we're actually, they're going to help me create an actual FTMO strategy. So it'll be a strategy that you can actually utilize for FTMO based on their trading psychology, which is very tight stop loss, very high risk to reward ratios, which is, a very similar psychology to FTMO's strategy. And, just to piggyback on what everyone was saying earlier, FTMO, if you look at their business model, because there is such a high failure rate, their business model is to collect money off of the verifications. They make more money off of verifications than they do with those traders who actually pass and make trades. All right. And so you keep that in mind, that their model is a business model. I mean, they're here to make money, and they make more money that way because, again, I've been in the FTMO Facebook group. There are individuals that actually pay for the strategy. I mean, the verification, the $600, the $300, depending on what level, whatever the case may be. And then they ask the group for a strategy to use because they don't know how to trade. So for those who are looking to jump into it, the group is there for what? The group is there to ensure you get the education you need on all the rules of trading on FTMO. For example, drawdown and close trades. So if you close a trade out in the negative or you have drawdown in the trade, both of those count towards your loss. You can only have 5% loss in a day. So you have to be able to have very good money management. So for example, on all the trades I'm using, I have no lot sizes over 3 lot. There are 1, 2, and 3 lot trades. That's it. If I'm using a 10 lot, 20 lot, and I have drawdown, it doesn't take much for me to hit the 5,000 mark in a day. So it's all about low risk, but consistency, so that over time you reach your goals. You get 30 days. So that's kind of psychology behind it. There's a twofold approach. One, to help other traders become more successful if they ideally like that approach to trading, that psychology. And then number 2, just to show the world that AIRO is a tool that can be utilized for it. If you want to be a part, again, sign up for the free trial. Send me a direct message on Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, Telegram. Show me that you signed up for it, and I add you to the group. It's not an open group, and I'll tell you, I'm actually creating an exclusive group just for those who actually pass the verification phase, and that group will be exclusive because you have to pass to get into it, which is very difficult. I think somebody posted in the group that only 8% of all traders that try for the verification actually pass. So that tells you 92% of all money coming in is literally just going to their pockets because it's non-refundable. Unless you pass, then they will refund it.
We got a great question in the chat there. How do you master your mind when dealing with money? even using AIRO, how do you trick your mind to trust the system? And I have a very simple answer for that, okay? It's called VOT. It's volume of trades. You're not going to trust the system unless you start just trading and doing it and do the simple things over and over and over again. You want to trust the system? Put in 100 demo trades with the exact same criteria. Do it 100 times in a row. I guarantee you'll start trusting the system then. It's because you haven't built up that confidence and trust in what you're doing. You didn't experience it. You're hearing it from other people. But until you experience it, and then you're gonna be able to get rid of FOMO and get rid of desperation and get rid of all of those other emotions, because you know what you're doing and you know it's going to work because you've put in the time and the demo trades. So demo trade, that's the simple answer to the question how to master your mind when it comes to dealing with a system.
That's great stuff.
You know, if you really develop yourself with everything that you have at your fingertips within Auvoria Prime, you manage to grow an account and are consistently profitable with a low drawdown, there are so many institutions that would love to have you as a professional trader, and you don't have to qualify with paying $600. You will just have to show a track record of at least 18 months. And they will roll out the red carpet for you.
To be consistently profitable puts you in the top 1-2% of Forex traders.
Exactly.
Forget the percentage of pass rate of the FTMO. If you are consistently profitable in the Forex market, week over week over week over week, you're in the top 1, 2, 3%. That's the goal. It doesn't matter if you got a $600 account or if you're like one of my brother-in-laws in the Philippines. Guess what? $100. Hey, doesn't matter what you start with. What matters is what keeps on continuing and compounding and compounding. That's the magic.
Completely agreed. Completely agreed.
And one thing that I struggle with psychologically is if I would trade for another company and I have a responsibility towards them, it also means that they are giving me the framework, like you're allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. That's why I left corporate life many years ago. I was
making your own rules, living by your own guidelines. That
my
freedom,
terms.
Your terms, living a life on your terms, not trading someone else's money, saying, I need to make sure I don't go beyond 5% drawdown on my account.
No, and also saying like, you know what, I feel like a week of vacation, I'm not going to trade. Try that when you're responsible for other people's money.
That's a lot of stress.
Don, that's awesome that you just reached with one of our EAs 100% return in 10 months.
Powerful.
Congratulations on that.
So my Einstein account did 100%. Wow. I said that puts me in the top percentage of traders. Exactly.
Of course you do.
Absolutely.
Of course you do. You know, in the investment world, outside of the Forex, okay, we talk a lot about Forex, and that's what we do. That's who we are. But outside, if you can make 10% a year, you're a success.
You're
you
a
want to
winner.
get someone's. You want to talk about getting people's attention? Tell them you make 10% a year. You tell them something like you're trending like 10% a month, 15% a month. They roll their eyes back and they say, whatever you're doing is super high risk. But you don't know what you don't know. And that's the magic of the Forex. is people think that the Forex is high risk. Yes, there's a lot of risk involved, but it's calculated risk based with systems that are mathematically proven over time, over a volume of trades. See, we just had Nate here, and he's not just anyone, right? He studied the math, he's done the math, mathematician and beyond. So when he starts talking about certain things and market maker, and hey, my ears are all tuned. I may have been in this for a while, came from a different line of business, but I'm ready to learn. Whatever someone has to say, I'm going to filter it through, and I'm going to be ready to pay attention to what they have.
Yeah. So just feel like a sponge, absorb all the knowledge, all the insights, all the golden nuggets.
Do I understand it all? No. I don't understand it all. Do I understand the way that you can apply AIRO on crypto? No. Do I understand how AIRO works exactly on the lower time frames on indices? No. But I'm willing to put that in the back of my mind for later on. And as I become more accustomed to this situation and more connected and becoming a part and rubbing shoulders with people of this quality, of this caliber, then I'll get to a place where maybe I'll start exploring that thing.
Absolutely, and that's why I just feel like everything is great to just have everybody has the same starting spot with bounce, AIRO, go, and then kind of being able to veer off into more things like the bag strategy is the simplest strategy I've ever seen for the brand new person to get exposure and success in trading, and then kind of where you take it from there is your own choice as far as how much you want to learn. I've been loving these calls this week because we just have so much knowledge and so much variety and just insight to how to trade in different ways. Different successful traders are trading, and you're really getting a taste of the Auvoria Prime educational community in its entirety now, with people who are already been educators for a few months, like Al and Matt, and then some of the newer educators like myself and Coach Mo and Jackie and Charles. So it's just very exciting. And then obviously like Nate too, who's going to be kind of running the show and running point for and leading the way when it comes to our education. So we're very excited. I hope you guys got some value out of today's call. I'll be kind of sitting in AN and letting this thing play out and going from there. I'm very comfortable with parameters that we have set on the only trade that we took today. And I know that you guys will be staying up late tonight and hopping on Nate's session. So I want to say thank you all for joining with us today. And I hope you guys got some value. If you guys, any of our panelists have anything to say before we hop off?
I'd just like to thank you for having me here today, Donta, and
no
hope to
problem.
do it again sometime.
No problem. Let's do it again more often.
Amazing call. Thanks, everyone.
Great call, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a part of us. Can't wait to see you next week.
All right.
Or tomorrow. We're here tomorrow also, 7:30.
Oh yeah, check out for that Hawkeye link tomorrow. I'll be coming out hopefully in the AIRO chat. All right.
Yeah, we'll make that happen.
All right, guys.
Bye, everybody.